Hey everybody, how are we doing tonight? Well, we're back. We're back. This is like the first CAF update or anything since we've had OAX, and I'll tell you, we are still in recovery mode around here. But you can tell I'm well rested now. I don't look like that zombie that was running around all weekend. But as we've been able to tell from all the positive feedback that we've been seeing on Facebook and other places, and all the emails that I've gotten, everybody really enjoyed OAX, and I can't tell you how much we appreciate that. It was a lot of work, but the effort certainly paid off. And yeah, it's thrilling. We're getting a lot of the video shoots that we had going on throughout the entire weekend sent in to us. A lot of photography coming in, things that we have to go through. But the great thing when it comes to OAX 2025 is we will have a lot of content with which to promote the show. So yeah, it's been absolutely amazing. I can't tell you how floored we were with how the show went and the reception that we got during the weekend. And it means a lot to to have everybody enjoy the show, and not just all the attendees, all the art collectors out there. The artists had incredibly nice things to say to us after the show, and we'll talk about all of that throughout the early parts of the show tonight. But we do have a new segment for you. As you know, Bob, those of you who were there, Bob Layton was there, and we know where Bob Layton is now. He's actually in Florida, and he'll be doing some signings and other things around the state before he heads back to South Korea. So we didn't want to call the segment, where in the world is Bob Layton, since we know. So we've got the WTF, and now you can call it whatever you want, the what the F or what the well, anyways, you can name it as you would like, but we're going to play this segment for you, and then we'll talk with Bob and a special guest right after this.
All right, we are officially at OAX. Doing where the world is Bob Layton. Bob Layton is in Orlando, Florida. I am back in the U.S. After being gone for 11 months. I'm back in the States for at least 3 weeks. And I walked around here and I did some interviews with some of my former colleagues or whatever. I left Beatty out because I'm saving that for a little bit later. So the following is Bob with some prepared questions for some of my old buddies. I'm with David Finch. How about that?
Hey, everybody.
Yeah, and okay, so did you ever aspire to be me?
Yes, I absolutely did.
You lying sack! You did not.
I don't think there's a single artist here that's younger than you that didn't one day aspire to be.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm here to tell you, I think you did fine on your own. I'm glad you did not follow my footsteps, all right?
Well, thank you.
All right, guys. All right, back to you. My question I'm here with Bob McLeod. We go back way to the beginning. Almost 50 years, right?
Yeah.
And here's what I want to ask you. Since you're a McLeod, how have you avoided the Kurgan all this time?
I don't watch the TV show. I don't watch the movies. I'm just my own McLeod.
Oh, okay, right. But you are immortal.
I could be.
Yeah,
we'll find out.
I think he is. We'll find out, won't we? So, Dan, you have a lot of kids, right?
I have 2 kids.
You have two. No, that's all. That's
Okay,
more than I
okay,
have. I have one.
Okay.
All right. So I'm saying, if we had a magic wood chipper that could make you young again, which kid would you push into it?
Oh, man. I would probably flip a coin because any answer I give, I don't want to be responsible for. So it's a coin flip.
But you would push one of them in.
Not to be young again.
Yeah.
I like where I'm at.
Oh, come on.
I do?
This is a comedy segment, okay?
Okay.
You're just not going with it. Thanks, Dan. Catch next week, all right? Here I am with my friend. Everybody knows Brian Selfridge, right?
Bob Layton is here, by the way.
Okay, so I just need to ask you one question. How's it feel to be the only black man in the show?
What? No.
Wait a minute.
I walked around the whole place. You are officially the only black person here.
You know, if I take off my hat and I throw it out,
Yeah.
that calls the Black Avengers.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm up for that. How about you? I'm with the maestro here, Jose Luis Castillo Lopez, and tell him something. Which one of us is more handsome, me or you?
Of course, here.
Of course you.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Because you have that sexy Latin
Of course,
blood.
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wait until I can look as good as you, man.
Okay, you take out okay, you're going to get it.
I love you, brother. All right,
we are.
Here's oh, thank you, darling. Here I am with my buddy, my Secret Wars buddy, John Beatty. That's still your name, right?
So far.
Mr. Yellow Fever himself.
The original.
The original. And what I'm going to ask you is, okay, so we worked together on Secret Wars. Everybody knows that. There was only 3 artists on the whole book, right?
Yes.
Well, when I got drafted into the war, why didn't you step up and defend me? Because, you know, I didn't know what I was getting into.
I didn't either.
You were already 4 issues in.
True. But it progressively got a little bit worse as it went on.
I joke. I said I'm the only person drafted into the Secret War. Yeah,
it's true. You
That's
were.
the trouble with being a contract player. You know, but
I don't know. I guess I was like so involved in it. I was just like looking for somebody to bring the misery. You know.
And it worked because I still have scars from it. All right.
Yes.
Yeah,
But
I'm sure
40
you
years,
do too.
40 years later, we're still making a few dollars.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
can get a tank of gas.
Good to see you, brother.
You too.
All right.
See you.
Right. Okay, we're still in Orlando, and I'm with Dave Johnson, my old drink and draw buddy. Here, you know, it's like, oh my God, it's been a while since I've seen you too.
It is.
Yeah, I got to ask you something.
Right.
The cartoon you did about me when we met, is it true?
It is true.
All right, because we're going to run it on the show. All right, so I just want everyone to know that he tried to beat me up on an airplane. You know, he didn't know who I was.
I didn't know
sat
who
in
he
his
was.
seat.
I
Yeah.
thought he was sitting in my seat.
I'm telling you.
I took one look at him. I thought, this guy's an assole. I'm going to have to beat the crap
He was
out of
right
him.
about that.
Well, you know.
Do you still want to beat me up though?
No, of course not.
Okay.
So where's he now?
Well, yeah. Okay, we know where the World Bob Layton is, right?
Right here.
Right here.
Right now.
I'm here with Gerhard.
No matter where you go, there you
And
are.
my question to you is: the next time you do an Iron Man,
Can I color it properly?
what did you do wrong? Tell them what
I
you did
colored
wrong.
the pods wrong. They should be red, and the epaulets should be red too, not yellow. Gold.
He did like one of the best things, enhancements of my art I've ever seen, and he fucked it
And
up.
I fucked it. The story of my life. There it is.
You gonna show him? You
Yeah.
gonna show him?
Here
Gonna
it
show
is.
him?
Here it
Look,
is.
At least look, he owns up to it. He owns up to it. No,
Should
no,
be
we're
red.
doing it for the podcast.
Should be red.
He's yeah,
Should be
yeah.
red.
See, otherwise,
Awesome,
it
awesome,
just
awesome.
rocks.
Stupid.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
I love you, man.
Thank you.
I am with my old friend Jimmy Bamiati and the lovely Amanda Connor. All right, and Jimmy, a question for you. Okay.
Go ahead. I'm ready.
Besides me, who's the worst editor you ever worked for?
Oh my God, there's so many of them.
I mean, besides me,
Besides you,
because I know I'm at the top of the list. Yeah.
You were not so bad. I was just inking, so you really didn't have much to yell. You were more concerned with the pencilers than the inkers, I think, at that point.
I never left you alone. I was still rough on it.
No, you were
terrible to work
you
for.
were-
I was terrible to work for.
I think you were tougher with Joe than me, that's for sure.
Well,
Yeah.
why? Because he couldn't make a damn deadline.
Yeah.
You know?
Let's see. Oh my God, I think it might be Scott Alley
Yeah.
at Dark Horse.
Yeah, he turned me down for a Conan story I wanted to do.
I like Scott, but in one of the books he put some dialogue on a Mead character I wrote.
Oh my God!
and that
Oh my God!
was
That
probably
does
the-
it.
That's probably the winner. And I love Scott, so Scott is a person, but I just think he missed something and that happened, and that was a pretty.
The point of it is, I am not the worst editor you ever worked
No,
with. Okay.
no.
Thank God.
No.
Love you guys. Thanks.
Okay.
You ready? Shoot. I am here with my old buddy Mike Golden. How about that? All right, CAF fans, y'all needs no introduction. All right, so my question to Mike is, do I look better wet or dry?
Oh, wet. Absolutely.
So,
it's always better.
In the
when
Golden
it's wet,
House,
too.
do you take baths or showers?
Depends on who I'm with. I don't know how to answer that. I'm not sure how to answer that one.
That's all I need.
Yeah, okay.
Every week. So wait till you see the footage I sent Cass. I'm here with Bill. I'm going to interview Bill for a change
About
here
time, man.
on CAF. How about that? This is like our anniversary podcast too, right? Coming up?
Yeah, well,
Yeah, it's like 30, right?
Oh no, it's like.
Cass, come over here. Have you been getting my videos? Oh, you're going to love them. anyway, Bill is already wishing he never did this. But here we are together. We made it together after 30 weeks or whatever. And there's Cass. So the whole crew from CAF Live is right here. And you guys, thank you. And we have one audience member too. Okay. Anyway, any last words?
I've never been this close to your ear before.
I know. I asked Mike Golden, does he like me dry or wet?
We don't want to know.
It's an in joke. You'll find out when you watch the videos. Anyway, thanks for having me, guys. All right, and we'll see you this week on the show.
Yeah.
And we're back. Kazra, Bob Layton.
Man, what a great opening that is. We should change it to WTF all the time, man.
Well, there was I saw some people saying that you should do that at every show that you go to, Bob.
I don't go to any other shows. I just do you guys.
All right, once a year then.
Because you're my brothers. You're my brother, my video brothers.
You've got a sponsor now, Bob. Any show you want to go to, you've got a sponsor.
Well, like I said,
Give us the dirt. Do the weird.
Jason saw the footage when I came back, was laughing his ass off and said, well, you should just do this every week. You just do this for a living, you know? Because I have the dirt on everybody, you know? The joke about Michael Golden, by the way, who doesn't
Oh God, really?
He doesn't do interviews, right? So he did it for me because we go back. But there was a time where he and I got thrown out of a hotel for skinny dipping with some girls back in the early 80s. And that's why I said, why do you prefer me wet or dry? You know?
Oh boy, yeah, we're never gonna get another sit down with Michael Golden again. I have a feeling.
I mean, like I said, I really limited it to people I've actually worked with on this interview at OAX. Okay, because there are a lot of other great. I loved Adam Hughes photobombing the whole time during. It was hilarious, and I told him afterwards. I said, Adam, I would love to do an interview with you, but we haven't worked together on anything, and I was really trying to limit this to people who've actually I've worked with over the years. So I kind of had a theme there, you know? Castro, welcome to the show, by the way.
Thanks for inviting me.
I missed you, brother. It was great.
Are you in Colorado?
No,
are you in a lodge?
I'm at Joe and Jason's house in Sefner, Florida. You know, just a few feet away from the pool. But they let me into their home. As you see, they even set the stage for tonight, so I would look absolutely cozy, which I am, you know. So
thank Jill for the good internet too.
So tell me, guys, how was it?
I already said it was great. It was it was exhausting, and as I think everybody has noted, Kazra and I both said that neither of us got to flip through a single portfolio while we were there, but just being able to see everything kind of come off as planned. I mean, even better than planned. All you can do is kind of put the setting in place for everybody to have a good show. Whether they're an attendee, an artist, and then it's really up to everybody on the floor to make something happen.
I did some footage.
It worked.
I did some footage, Cass, of me on the floor there with Josh Flanders' girlfriend came up. Right? You didn't use that?
We'll use it. I mean, I've gone through some of the footage our videographers caught, and Josh and Sherry are in just about every single shot, the entire show.
Really good.
I don't know how they did
that. She made me really look good on camera. And thank you, Josh, for allowing me to borrow your girl. But we didn't get we're all exhausted but happy. Yes. But she made me look really good on camera. So I thought I'd just keep her there as a foil the whole time. But we didn't use that. But yeah, I have to say, just seeing all that much, especially some of my old comic art. I mean, going back 40, 50 years, it's like it was overwhelming the amount of comic book pages that was there. I mean, Jason was telling me at one point it's almost like overload, in the brain. There's so much there, it was crazy.
It was even just walking through it. I didn't look through portfolio. I did look through one, Bill. I looked through Mannix's portfolio while I was talking to somebody because I'm a smart
portfolio.
Man.
I didn't even know.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, I saw the Invisible Girl before Simon bought it, and I probably should have snagged it. But even just walking through there, I get overloaded pretty quickly. I
Yeah,
got 1 hour in the museum and I'm out. I gotta
like
clean the
sensory
brain.
overload.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It really was. But at the same time, let's face it, in terms of the kind of turnout and the excitement and all that sort of thing, it was there. It was there in the room, and that's an amazing thing, without a doubt.
Everyone showed up, Bob, including
Yeah.
you, all the way from Korea. All the collectors showed up. Everybody showed up, and we're pretty. I don't know what's the word to use. We're humbled. We're proud. We're floored. We're thrilled, and I guess Bill and I are actually really excited because, in a way, that was us at our worst. And
Bill was that he was vibrating. I remember
yeah,
when David
I
said I was
mean,
going to sue you guys, for breach of contract.
Anytime anybody
Bill's
says they're
head
going to sue me, I
exploded.
start to vibrate.
You laughed
Don't do it
because
while
you
I'm
know
on
me.
air.
Casper laughed because you know me. You started vibrating like you were going to your head was going to explode. I know better than joke with you when you're stressed. But
Yeah.
let me tell you this. Here's the thing that really got me. I show up there Friday night, right? I'm in the lobby, and more people recognize me from the podcast than it did for my 15 years in comics. They're like, "You're the guy on the Where the World Is Bob Layton show." It's like, I don't know
Bill,
if that's-
imagine if we introduce this guy to TikTok. He's going to take over.
He could. He definitely could.
Well, the point of it is, Costner knows I've always been a showbiz kid, right? And I love the fact you guys give me a forum to do this. And I kind of went a little crazy this time, embarrassing my friends on camera. But that's what you do, right? Not like I don't do that to you guys every week. We're eating weird shit,
Can we get you a ticket?
Drunken Korean girls on,
Can we get you 2 hours at MegaCon so we can take the piss out of a whole bunch of people there?
No, I don't want to go to MegaCon.
Nor do a lot of people.
But here's what I'm saying. If it's a design play, I think we should do it. I mean, we have time to think about it. Is the right show at the right time? The people there that are from my past. You get like John Romita Jr. and the people that I worked with for years and years, where I really have the dirt on them. I really have, and I can just really embarrass them on camera.
That documentaries, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll line them up on Zoom. You can do 5-minute segments on Zoom, and we'll just put the show together.
Bob Layton says, WTF.
WTF.
I'm all for it, man.
I think that show name, you leave everybody saying WTF after they talk.
Well, I know after you watch the footage, it's probably what you said. Like,
yeah,
I can't help myself. You know what I mean? It's like, whenever I'm out, give Sherry my love. She was great, man. Thanks, Josh. I can't tell you how much fun it is because unlike you guys who are working, you had me come there basically to have fun. And Nick, it was great seeing you.
Wait a minute, that was in the contract actually?
No, it's just like but see, I had no responsibilities there. I mean, you basically came and come because I shared the show with you guys.
Bill, I sent him a contract that didn't require his signature. He got the point.
Yeah, well, where's
Exactly.
my suite at?
Oh, he's still
First,
talking
that's
about the
my-
sweet. Oh,
You knew it was going to come up. I'm not going to start vibrating
They
this time,
promised
old
me
man.
I would have my own suite when I got there, and they stuck me in just a regular old room. And so I go up to Bill and I said, "You're in breach of contract. I'm going to sue you guys." And he believed me.
that's so great.
Like I gave a
So great.
damn,
I
right?
think that was one of my lower
I gave
moments
a
too.
damn. But hey, it was great to see Michael Lovitz and Skip was there, and so many of my old friends were there. It was a fantastic time. I know. Listen, like I explained to you guys, I'm off the stripper pole. I'm not doing Comic Cons anymore because I just don't. I don't need the money, and I don't. I just don't want to sit there and draw inferior stuff all the time, and give it to people when I can sit home and draw really great stuff that I'm proud of. So I mean, I'm kind of done with the whole con thing, but as a comic book artist, I'm not done as an entertainer. So, Cos, you and I should talk, man.
Yeah, because I know that even those little interviews you gave us, you're holding back.
Oh yeah, because you know me.
I know.
Yeah, you know me all too well.
So we'll ramp it up over the next year.
Oh,
We'll see what happens by OAX 2025.
I can guarantee you that I could probably get Butch Geist to start crying.
Well, that's always helpful. Butch is on my top 5 for year 2, so we'll get Butch out for year 2.
Listen, anytime you get Butch your head on, I'm there because I love that guy, man. He and I.
If you want to completely crash and burn everything with a tell-all over the next couple of years, Bill and I will full on get you as many commissions and as much money as you need to be able to do that.
Well, I got a really good lawyer, as you know. Jason's still working on the documentary too. I mean, he's got foot out the kazoo of me and everything imaginable, so
well,
almost yes. So anyway,
Jason and I talked about it, and it was pretty clear that it will not be airing on Disney Plus. It will not be on Disney Plus. Yeah.
No, not my life. You kidding? Casper, there's Jason. Here, Jason Springs.
Hey
guys.
Hey, Jason.
I just got back from the show. It was a great
So
I just got back. The after parties were wicked. All right, that's all I can say. I just got back.
I barely remember them.
Congratulations.
It took me hours just to find my clothes.
Someone offered like $100 for the 420 hammer.
Hey, listen. By the way, how'd the auction go? I never got to talk to you guys about the auction.
It went very well. It went way better than we had. We do our best to try to figure things out, and it was like 30-40% above what we thought.
Oh wow!
And we've got the Italian boys to thank, and we've got the great crowd. Everyone showed up for it. So Nick Barucci and Jimmy Palmiotti, thank you.
I hear Nick lost his voice doing that. Nicky, are you?
Oh man,
yeah, for 2 hours he was spent.
I felt bad. Yeah, I felt bad.
I listen.
That's about the time I texted you and said they need some water up there.
This would be a less colorful industry if it wasn't for guys like Nick Barucci, without a doubt. God bless him. And like I said, I told you guys, just keep my money, whatever I got from the show.
I have never heard you say that in 20 years, and I'll take it. Thank you.
No, just keep it. I don't, well, put it toward whatever. That list you gave me of commissions, part of the problem was half those guys on that list never paid.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
send Nick on them. Come on.
No, I didn't do the drawings. You don't get a drawing unless you pay first.
Yeah.
This is like Korea. I have to pay my lawyers first before they take my case. That's the way it works over there. But I never do commissions until you prepay, because half these guys never show up anyway. But I'm just saying
that piece you did for Josh was fantastic.
They signed up on the OAX thing, but they never actually sent me the money. So I never did the drawings. We can go over that, but I said, it's going to wash out. Just keep my money from the auction. We've probably even close to it. I don't care. It's only money. We're friends. It's more important.
See,
Jill is in the chat.
Josh, I didn't get to give it to you because I wanted other people to see it before you took it home. That's all. I just said leave it in the book.
Jill's worried about her dogs walking behind you. We want to see the dogs.
No, that's fine, because today was. I got to tell you, I'm on the phone with Simone. You remember Simone, my drunken president of Drink and Draw. She calls me because she gets up every morning at 5 a.m. to spend time drawing before she goes and teaches school, right? Because she's working on her portfolio because she wants Nikki to hire her as an artist, right? So anyway, it's 5 a.m. in Korea. Jason gets back from doing his errands or whatever, and Putin's out by the hot tub, right? And she accidentally slips in while I'm talking to Simone. So Jason strips his clothes off and jumps into the hot tub. I mean, in his skivvies right in front of Simone, right? And she's like just screaming with laughter, It was hilarious.
It happens at OAX stays there, I guess, right?
Yeah, well, the dog can't swim. It's a sheep dog. So it's like, its hair weighs it down. And
she's old.
She's old too, yes.
And
yes, dear. Yes.
I'm surprised Jason's not naked behind you. Every chance he gets.
Hey, you shouldn't have said that, because here he comes.
That's
Yeah,
a shame.
Jill baked some
It
bagels
was
and
discussed.
All right. So for those people who aren't, should I explain the situation? I should explain this. Okay.
oh man,
Jason is married to my ex-wife. This is their home. This
and
is
their
my
friends.
wife and Jason's home that I am their guest in while I'm staying here in Florida because we have that kind of relationship.
He's gonna put the fire out, Strange Brew
He's
style.
pissing at it. Yes, actually, that was a big finale we had for you guys. Now, listen, I may take some footage this week because I'm going to go shopping with my granddaughter at the mall because it was her birthday and I missed her birthday because of the delay. You know, remember me getting here because of the immigration thing.
Sure.
So I'm going to do that. And my friend, the hillbilly hacker, I'm having dinner with him on Saturday night. And so, I mean, I got a few things going on. I'm going to the doctor tomorrow just for a checkup. So I might take footage of that too. So even though I won't be on live, you might have some footage from me before or whatever, but we'll be live.
What kind of doctor, Bob? What kind of doctor?
Well, you mean the kind that makes me cough?
Yeah, the Moon River kind or what?
Yeah, we're watching.
I live in a madhouse. But like I said, no, I love them all dearly, and like I said, this is the equivalent of coming home is being here and hanging out with them, being with the dogs.
I get to come down while you're still there. Yeah?
Oh God, yes. Jill says you have an open invitation, not you, Bill, but
that's all right.
No, Bill, of course you do. You guys want to come?
I got a lot of booze. I'll trade
Jill
the booze.
Jill will cook for you.
Exactly.
You know, she's like a gourmet chef. She's
I
making
know.
tomorrow night crawfish etouffee, baby. One of my favorite things in the whole world. Jill makes the best crawfish etouffee you ever had, chef. I tell you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I told my friend Nick. You remember Nick back in Korea, the one, the law student? He's I told him that Jill's making me crawfish etouffee. He was green with envy, man. Picasso, get your bad ass down here. Bring your girl. Come on down here, man.
I will.
All right. Any night but Thursday.
Okay.
All right. Jill's online right now, so she probably. Jill, give him a written invitation, would you? So what else is on the show tonight, guys?
We're gonna do some stuffs.
Is it boring? Can I log off after this? Should I stay on?
Yeah, you should log off. Yeah.
I gotta get ready for that doctor's thing tomorrow. I gotta get the high colonic and all that stuff. You know.
Oh boy, don't.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm not that old, for Christ's sake. You know, I'm doing pretty good for my age, considering my contemporaries. Okay.
That is very true.
Can we get you and Sienkiewicz on a Zoom call talking too?
Oh God, yes, I love Billy, man. That'd be fine.
Yeah,
I got all the dirt on Billy too, baby.
Oh, I want to hear it.
Oh yeah, Billy. There was like a group of bad boys at Marvel, and Billy was one of them. You know, and so was Butch, so was Johnny, so was Paul Smith. You know, there was a bunch of us that kind of hung out together and looked for bad things to do. You know,
Bill, that's a good idea, Bill. If you can't get Paul Smith to leave California, we can do a Zoom with him and Bob
he used to come to Cal. Listen, remember when I lived like 3 blocks from Marvel, right? So I had an apartment 3 blocks from Marvel, and suddenly I hear this motorcycle pull up outside, and it'd be Paul Smith, and he'd come up and like, "Can I crash on your couch for a few days?"
For a week,
into 2 weeks, and he would eat he would eat everything in my house. And then he would draw a book, make enough money to pay for his drive back to California, and off he went.
Thank you. Made the books better.
That was off and on all the time. Paul Smith was like be sleeping on my couch depending on what month you were there. You know.
I like the idea.
My life has been weird, dude. It's been great, but really weird. But as Kaz knows, it's been a who's who. You know. Through the whole thing, but it's an amazing and seeing Jose Luis Garcia Lopez there, especially the maestro. I mean, is there a better draftsman in the world than him? You know, And I feel bad for Adam Hughes, so I got to do an interview with Adam Hughes just to let him know how much I love his work, because we totally like ignored him in there, and he kept photobombing us the whole time.
Adam was happy as a clam in that shot.
I know, because he just said later, he goes, I just kept photobombing you.
Oh, he's so funny. He's fine, Bob. Don't worry about Adam.
No, but I would love to sit down. I would like to sit down with him one-on-one and talk about drawing girls. You know, one of my favorite things to do.
You know, he lives right up in Atlanta. Let's get in a car. Let's shoot the road trip and go and just knock on Adam and Allison's door and let's see what happens. Even if they slam the door on us, we got something.
Bill, can I say too? I met your lovely family for the first time. Your wife, your kids, and they were fabulous, man. Good job.
Yeah, I am very fortunate to I can tell you that. Yeah, they've put up with a lot of crap from me over the years, owning a miniature golf course and all these other crazy things, but they enjoy it. Their life has not been dull. I can tell you that.
They are beautiful kids, man. You got a lot to be proud of. Your wife was lovely, and she even bought one of my pieces, I heard.
Oh, now I know why he's saying all these things.
She did buy the Batman. That is correct, Bob.
And now for a word from our sponsor, Heineken Zero. Thank God they make this shit, or otherwise the pizza would not have got. We had Eddie and Sam's pizza tonight, man. One of the things I can't get in Korea is decent pizza. So I had pizza for the second time since I've been here.
Did they have non-alcoholic beer at the bar?
Oh, what? No. This is.
I know that's from here. I remember. One of our attendees asked about that in advance of the show, and I didn't.
Wait a minute.
I never looked into that.
Why would a
Floridian? It's unanswered.
She just threw something at me.
I didn't know.
She did.
Okay.
She's still angry at me all these years.
I dropped something.
She did. So Castro is obviously invited to come while I'm here, right?
I posted on the thing. I said,
Yeah, it was in the chat. She said he has an open invite.
You have no excuse, my brother.
And then I said,
yeah, I know I'm coming. Just let me know what to bring.
All right, fair enough. So tell me about tonight's show before I go.
I think we're going to talk a little bit about OAX and show a video, maybe answer a few questions, and then get the hell off. And then Chuck Arnold's coming on.
This is why you're not the fucking host. You know that, right?
Yeah, 100%. I the problem is I keep getting up at 6:30 in the morning. I haven't slept one night since this stupid show.
Well, so you got to answer. You got you're not good about answering your texts either. So it's like,
well, yeah, that is
down
true.
Like a dog, a dog. But listen, guys, I'm going to tell you this from the bottom of my heart. Well done. And thanks for having me, because like I said, I'm done with normal cons. I won't be doing those anymore, but weird cons I'm definitely at. Okay. This was weird.
You're the right kind of weird for you, right?
All right. Weird is where I live, my brother. You should know that. What? WTF, man.
WTF.
But Costa, we'll talk about that when you get here, because
we'll talk about the next two shows after WTF when I'm down there.
All right, but I'll be back live from Korea with Joey. He's back from Jeju Island. He went on vacation with Cleo. He was showing me pictures of him in the pool. It's too cold to swim here, but he's swimming.
Can we try something? Can you get Joey some drugs, or get him drunk, or do something? Can you do something?
Getting drunk is easy.
Okay, get him drunk just once, and let him kind of be forward of you in the camera just when he's drunk the one time.
We do that because he's 6'7".
Yeah.
You missed the point. We do that for scale, because otherwise Joey would take up half the lens. He's a
or set up a wrestling ring and set him up with somebody. Let's see Joey do something weird.
Hey, listen, Joey's my brother from another mother.
We like Joey. We're worried. We're worried about Joey.
But Simone's watching right now, and I told her not to, because she's supposed to be teaching school. So Simone, listen, I'm proud of you. I'm glad she's putting her nose to the grindstone, because she wants to work for Nikki, and I warned her about that, but she still wants to.
Everyone's got to start somewhere, huh?
Yeah, it's a big deal when Koreans get to work in American comics. It's like they're actors getting hired in Hollywood. It's
a big deal, period. Yeah, especially for them. Sure.
So I told her, just keep her nose to the grindstone, because she's got the chops. She's got the talent to do that,
Are they still doing drinking?
Are you in another costume?
What?
Oh, no, he's gonna firewalk for us or something.
Well, I have no pants on.
Oh, there you go.
I thought he was gonna moonwalk.
Rescued
once
another
there.
dog, obviously.
It's free. You're welcome, folks.
First one's free. First one.
I live in a crazy house, but it's a fun crazy house.
Well, Bob, we
That is a crazy house. It is.
we had a very good time having you at the show. And,
Hey, listen, guys. I know
you were our man on the floor doing the interviews. We appreciate that.
I listen. I one thing that I love more than anything is interacting with people and making them laugh, and I find that that's just part of who I am, and I'm kind of want to embrace that more. As I get older here, because it's like, what else can I do, right? Well, actually, I can still draw pretty good, but
You have a tremendous singing voice.
Oh, listen up. Oh, there's Helix news. I forgot to tell you. All right. The director has sent out offers to 4 major actors. And these are all A-list guys. And one has already expressed interest. So once we get a named guy on board, everything's going to really start rolling with that. So you want to tune in every week, guys, for Helix news as we get closer to the first Bob Layton scripted feature film.
Is there
$12
really
million budget?
Is there really a character named after me in that movie?
There is.
And
Kari Gambari.
Sorry?
Kari Gambari.
Is Kari male, female, both?
She's
what?
female. She's female. Persian female.
So I can't play the character.
No, you can't. No, you can try. You want to try out for it? You want to read for it? Because I mean,
you have to shave.
I have to shave every 20 minutes, Bill.
That would keep that would keep hair and makeup busy for a long time, wouldn't it? But no. At least for the 3 male roles, we have 4 possible candidates that are all A-list guys. So, and one of them, and Marcus won't tell me who, has already expressed interest and asked for a copy of the script. So it's like, as this continues, we'll let you know. But hopefully, we'll be doing WTF from the set of the Helix. By summer, if everything goes well.
That would be fun, Bill. That would be fun, Bob. Yeah.
Well, how long I've been chasing this turd? Yeah.
Longer than it takes.
Around the world, Dubai, Japan, you name it. I've been chasing money around the world to get this movie made for 11 years. Finally, we're finally there. So,
I know you had another representative there that you introduced me to about a television show. I don't know if you can talk about it.
I can't really talk about that now, but basically, it's he's a real serious player. He did his homework. It was one of those feel your calluses meeting, but he flew in from California just to talk to me about doing one of the Future Comics characters as a streaming show. So those negotiations are underway. Good. So we'll see what happens with the current superhero market as it is. It's like they're looking for stuff that's not so superhero-y, and as you know, a lot of my stuff is not so superhero-y. It can be done low tech. So we'll see what happens. But I can't I can't really talk about that now.
Next Thursday, you got CGC. The following Thursday, are you still in Florida?
I'm in Korea. I get back
already.
On the 13th. Yeah, wow. I get back on the 13th, and Thursday is the 15th. If I'm not, am I right out there? Because I don't.
You are.
All right. So yeah, I'll be live from Korea on Friday, the 16th. Because I'll be back in the future. I'll be back in the future.
All right, Doc.
Just gotta get back.
Do it. So, well, safe travels, Bob, and have fun. Don't wear a brace on your hand when you're doing those signings next week.
Will do. And Cass, I'll see you later this week, man.
Yeah, I'll call you Sunday.
And everybody, thank you so much for supporting the live show here. And Where in the World is Bob Layton? Don't worry. I'm still going to be traveling all over the place because until I get my permanent residency, I have to leave every 90 days. So I'm already going to go to Japan. I'm going to go visit my buddy Tack in Japan on May 13th. All right. So I'm going to go back to Thailand too for a little bit. So we're going to still be Where in the World is Bob Layton on top of everything else.
Siberia.
I could go to Siberia. It's pretty close.
Do that.
Shut up.
Man.
You shut up.
All right, Bob. Well, Again, have fun. We'll see you again in 2 weeks. And if you want to film, things with your doctor tomorrow, that's okay. I think we're gonna have to screen it before we show anything, though.
I'll do the Chevy Chase thing. You got your whole fist up there, Doc?
Bring the widescreen with you, Bob.
And remember to support and CAF. Okay, guys, I love you, man. Thank you so much.
Have a good night. See you.
All right.
Bye, Joe.
Bob Layton out.
Oh man, I love Bob. I think he had a good show. He had a good time at the show. He definitely did.
I just noticed your backdrop is full of craziness. That's a lot.
There is the Crotch Goblin front, which is owned by Marcus. I don't know how I'm going to get it to him. Anthony said he's not taking it back anymore, so I'm responsible now. And then, of course, the all red. So I'm happy to do that. I have one regret.
How about the Marcus cap goodness there?
Oh, the Marcus, of course. Well, he's protecting the Crotch Goblin. You didn't know. I was going to say I have one regret about OAX, and that is that I did not take the cap mask over to Jason and see if he could put it on, because that would have been a lot of fun, right?
Yeah, I don't think he got drunk enough for that. But Jason did tell me that they inserted a listening device into the Marcus cap piece. So I don't know. I didn't want to tell you today because I wanted to give them at least like 24, 48 hours.
All right. Well, yeah. I'll put him back outside when we're done here.
He did tell me that.
So I don't really have any swag things to show off. The only thing, that I know that some people, missed out on because they weren't at OAX is, we did come up with something fun that I thought, it was your idea, as a matter of fact. And that was the piggy bank that we created that was really a gag. Unfortunately, nobody offered us any money to buy one.
That was beautiful.
Yes, it was. But here you go, everybody. There is
the Berkey Bank.
The Berkey Bank, right there. Look at that. Look at that guy. Just like you see him on the Dueling Dealers.
And he's anatomically correct.
Is he? I don't know. But yes, we made him the slots wide enough to put pretty much anything inside of him. I don't know. But yeah, the joke when Casper came up with this, he said, we're going to make a Berkey Bank would be great. And we'll have like a limited version of it with $25 already in it. We'll sell it for $25 more, just so, when you need that extra 25, when you're watching the Dueling Dealers, you can break into the piggy bank and get it. Does it smell like all cologne? I don't think so. But yeah, but this was born, gosh, months and months and months ago, and Gwen actually made that. She
did an amazing job. Honest to God, yeah. I'll buy one. I'll buy the limited edition one. I'll start this off. Honestly, I was just happy when Mike thought the idea of a limited edition with $25 in it for 25 more was a good idea. That was the moment I'm good. I'm complete.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that was good. Mike actually liked it. I should have got a photograph of him.
Even Mike didn't buy one.
He's a cheap bastard. But I have all of his art in the other room because the guy who drove it down is going to MegaCon this week, and they didn't want to leave it in his car for too long. So I pretty much got his entire inventory right beside me.
I have some certain inventory downstairs that's making me wake up at 6:30 every morning because it makes me nervous that it's in my house.
I get it. So I guess that's your cue to vamos and get out of here and whatnot. But we do have a video that we can play as you leave. We had Tom McDonald shot a lot of video, as did Alice, shot some video and photos. We've got more content.
Chuck and Shauna Lindsay too. Don't forget Chuck.
I was going to mention that because the clip we're going to show is the one that Chuck's put 24 hours into while he was still at the hotel and sent us a link for that. And he's over at MegaCon right now. And we're going to pick up a flash drive from him tomorrow, I think, of all the content that he got. But yeah, we went into this thing knowing we wanted to, pretty much have it as well documented as possible, and we couldn't have asked for a better team to pretty much get everything, because you could not one group could have done it with the different chats going on, the talks in the gallery, the live stream stuff that I didn't even get to see yet that happened with the card art collectors. I mean, there was just a lot of things to capture, and we didn't get to see most of it. So without them, we wouldn't have been able to be enjoying the show now. But with that in mind, Kazra, I know you've got to go. So what we've got here, I've got a video clip. It's about 12 minutes long, I think, but and it's something we'll post to the channel that'll give everybody who wasn't there and isn't here tonight the opportunity to see a lot of what OAX represented. Give you a good feel for it, and it'll make you want to go next year, I can assure you, because there definitely is going to be an OAX 2025. Well, we haven't set the dates yet. I think we'll probably know within the next 3 or 4 weeks, what target weekend we'll be looking at. And but so here, we're going to play a video for you. I hope you enjoy it. And if you go to MegaCon and you see Chuck Lindsay there, definitely high five. Give him a high five, because he did a great job with this, and we're happy to have him on board to put this thing together. So here we go.
I have seen more collectors here that I've sold artwork to and have known for years than any show. San Diego's a big one. I think more than San Diego, this has been such a great turnout for serious art buyers, and there just has not been something like this in comics ever.
Ladies and gentlemen, OAX is officially open! Thank you for coming!
It's a celebration of original comic art, but also illustration art, but also narrative storytelling art. All those sorts of adjacent genres, subcategories, and weird stuff. It's a collective ADD fest.
People who collect original art, they're really in it for, they're in it to have a wonderful piece of art, but they like to share it. So when these guys get in a show like this, and we're in a line to talk to an artist, it's part of that, just hanging out and chatting with one another. It's something that you don't get anywhere else.
Even though I work in the business, I'm a super fan. So walking around here and looking up this crazy art that I've only seen in books, I mean, I'm not saying there's phenomenal pieces in here, but there's like ridiculous pieces in here that I am tempted to go and mortgage my house to buy. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things where you don't get a chance to see this stuff. This is folklore. Like, the stuff is like you've only read about. So, but I mean, this has been an amazing experience.
So I've been drawing all my covers oversized, and this is actually the very first one that I did. This is 20 by 30, and after I did this one, I found out that I really loved drawing them this large. And I did it fairly, I was fairly naive when I did it. I inked over very loose pencils, and it was a complicated drawing to do, because Omega Red is up here. He's strangling Wolverine, who's underneath the ice here. But I didn't sweat on it like I would normally do. It came fairly easy, and I was pretty proud of how it came out.
The art auction and pizza party was one of our highlights, right?
First of all, bad pizza. That's so sad. Bad pizza is a sad thing. So when I think of that auction, definitely get them better food.
The art auction was something that we wanted to, again, have another social aspect to the show that you wouldn't normally get. I mean, I could see groups of collectors who are good friends. It's separate factions throughout the event, really having a good time, talking with each other, encouraging each other to bid, and a lot of good art was sold. We were really pleased with the results. But it's all about, again, just trying to create unique opportunities. We had that wonderful Adam Hughes and Gerhard piece on, that would never happen anywhere else. That art opportunity will never happen again. That was really special. And when I look at what we want to do with years 2 or 3 and beyond that, I want to create more unique opportunities like that, because again, those are things you're not going to get at a regular con.
Wolverine, Psylocke, Rogue, Gambit, and Jubilee, $900. Come on, somebody say 900. 510 is at 900, 9 1/4, 9 1/4. Don't be shy. Somebody jump to 1,000. 1,000. 541 and 1,000. Come on.
1,100 bidding against his buddy. I love that.
1,100. Can we get 1,200? Come on, the Ranga's in the house. $1,200.
1,200. We got 1,200 back there.
1,300. Come on, a little bit more. We got 13 at 101.
13.
101 BE. Do you want to go 14? 1,400. 101 just said 14. Come on.
14.
1,500 with 5.
1,500. All right, we're going down.
Come on.
1,510.
Let's
No,
get
let's start it
Aranda's
at 5. Oh, we got 1,600.
101.
in
1,700. Come on, let's get
All
Aranda's
right.
confidence up. He's so shy. He is so shy. Come on.
Got
1,700.
17 going once.
Get to 1,800.
Go, we got 1,800. 1,800.
1,800.
All right, 2,000. All right, 2,000. We got 2,000. All right.
$2,000. 2,100. 541. Can we get to 2,200? Come on, everybody.
All right.
2,200.
We're at 21
There's
going
no
once.
buyer's premium here.
Up
22.
21.
22
going. 22 going once. 22 going twice.
2,300.
2,300 going once.
All right.
You guys.
2,400. Come on. 2,500.
2,500. All right. 2,500 in the front.
Going once.
Going once.
Going twice.
And sold for 2,500.
All right. Stand up. Stand up.
I'm Sonia Anwar. I'm an illustrator. I'm mostly a cover artist, and I had the opportunity to come to the show. Very, very excited because, you know, I largely do comic conventions, the more generic ones, and it's fun, but it's a very like traditional vibe. And to be able to come down to a proper art show, have everybody be here who's super passionate about the originals and about the craftsmanship, and be in that kind of environment is really nice. So I've really enjoyed it so far.
For the first day of the show, we actually didn't plan any panels or things that could derail people from having an exciting time on the floor. Our idea was, we didn't want to give people a diversion, because there were already going to be enough diversions on day one. So on day two, we planned a few panels that involved artists talking with their fans. Adam Kubert had a nice meet and greet where he was in a gallery with 50 pieces of his original art, some of his own, some from another collector, and it gave him a really cool opportunity to speak to his fans. He also delivered pre-con commissions to those people as well, so it was a really unique opportunity for him to connect with his fans that you're not going to have a similar experience somewhere else. So that was a lot of fun, being able to be the gateway for that. And over the weekend we had these guys who collect the original artwork from trading card artwork. They conducted 3 or 4 live stream panels that were videotaped and live streamed. So much fun. And these guys came to us after they heard about OEX.
Are really good friends, and that's the thing about like all this community is that I could talk to these guys about stuff, and they're the only human beings on the planet that can kind of give me the kind of feedback I need, right? Because we're all like doing this specific style, doing this specific kind of thing, and it really is a blessing to have these guys to bounce ideas off of and talk to them when I need them. So.
That is wonderful, Dave. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to buy some Hawaiian shirts for Bill. Henry, come on camera with me. Come on. I'll just keep talking. He won't even know what's going on. Come on, Henry. I want you to show off some of your art. Can you show? My friends are through that lens. I've never seen them before, but they're my friends. This is my friend Henry. He came to his first show with his dad, who's like a brother to me, and you got some of the first. That's your first original art, right? So who's that?
That's Iron Man.
That's by Tony Moy from Chicago, like your dad. And who's this?
That's War Machine.
War Machine. Who did War Machine? Veronica Fish. Andy and Veronica Fish.
Spider-Man.
As he said, classic Spider-Man. And that's by Ryan Odagawa at TD Art. And
Captain America.
Captain America by Jim Mafood, aka Food One. That's fun. Venom by Matt Allison, also from Chicago. The people that are filming this are from Chicago. I'm from Chicago. Pizza from Chicago is better than New York pizza. Sorry, Simon. Hey. And you got one more, right?
And then finally Godzilla.
Who'd you get?
Godzilla.
Who did Godzilla? Who is that?
That Filipino guy.
Sorry? Harvey Tolabao. You got Harvey to do it? I got a Harvey piece too. He drew a piece for me. I'll show it to you. It's this character here. This weirdo guy that looks like me. That's awesome. Thank you, Henry. Thank you, Henry.
While we're an auction house and that's our business, we both grew up on comic books. We're comic book fans, comic art collectors. So great we were here to promote the company, but also that we were able to meet some of our heroes and I had a commission piece done by Mike Allred. He bought a number of pieces. We got autographs. So it was good from a business standpoint and also the fan aspect as well.
Opening reception. My pitch for the opening reception was open bar.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get the evening started. How are you? Welcome to Florida. If you wouldn't mind, please give it up for Bill Cox.
Yes, you thought I was Eddie Vedder. Sorry to disappoint everybody, but welcome to OAX, right? This is very special for me. I can tell you that after doing Comic Art Fans for 21 years, and it is our 21st anniversary in about a week, it's surprising to end up being here in front of all of you presenting something like this. But the great thing about both our hobby and I think the approach that we've had with the hobby is like we just try to evolve things with what we think the hobby and the industry needs. And it was very clear during the pandemic that we needed Comic Art Live as a virtual show for those 4 years. And that led to what we have today here with OAX. And it's a true honor because when we put these things on, we think we know what everybody wants, but it's not really special until we realize that it was what everybody needed. And when we have people turn out posting artwork and the virtual shows that we do, and then having so many people turn out for this show, it's incredibly humbling. And all I can say is I thank every one of you, because without you there wouldn't be CAF, there wouldn't be OAX, there wouldn't be Comic Art Live or any of the other things that we do. So I appreciate every one of you being here with me today to share in this first experience of OAX in Orlando. So 21 years of CAF. Thank you, everybody. That's not going to happen, but I hope everybody enjoys the show. It's going to be really special this weekend, and please, if we've never met, I want you to come up and introduce yourself to me. Yeah, thank you. I heard that. Because I do. I want to meet each and every one of you. I appreciate you being here. Have a wonderful weekend.
It feels like a fan event. It is a fan event. It is just something that I've just been absolutely thrilled with so far. And we're only 25 minutes in.
I like the guys that put this together. Most importantly, Bill and Casra, they're genuinely interested in the art form, And Bill, the best thing, when you start a business is doing something that you love. And he never planned on growing it big or it didn't even start out as it's not a selling site, although people buy and sell all the time, and that's really the best way to sell something when you're not trying to.
It's probably one of the best things ever created for comic book art collectors. It's just a wonderful environment. Everyone is here to spend money, to get original art, to get sketches, to get signatures.
I am awestruck by half of the things that I am seeing because it's all pieces you would never assume that you would ever see in your life. It's all just stuff you've seen on Google or things that have been referenced for years and years and years.
Everything has just been wonderful. Love everybody, loved every moment. It's all been one big, beautiful comic book dream.
And there you have it. Wow. Thank you so much, Chuck, for putting in that effort. We really appreciate it. Saw Chuck in the chat too. So there you go. That was OEX in a nutshell. And, we've gotten a lot of feedback from attendees and artists, Gerhard sold out of everything he brought with him. I've heard from other artists who said it was, the best show they've ever had. And these are people who've been in the business for a very long time. There was a lot of, we had a lot of concerns putting on a show in January. a lot of people said, it's right after the holidays. It's going to be a nice show to hang out and have a good time with one another, but there won't be a lot of art sales. And other people said it's tax season, and there was a lot of naysayers in there. It made me worry that potentially the show might not have the impact that we would have hoped, because we hear enough about the camaraderie in the hobby, and we can get that anywhere, or we can travel far for that too. It doesn't matter. But for me, it wasn't going to be a fully successful show if it also didn't produce sales and have collectors walking home with lots of artwork. And that really, probably was the thing that concerned me most. And it turned out I shouldn't have been concerned about it as much, because it turned out so well. So again, we couldn't have been more impressed with the way things turned out. And I think you'll see we're planning on having a few other OAX discussions over the next few weeks, and we'll be rolling out a few other videos and things that that have been produced during that time. And it's going to be interesting to kind of finally, even for me, to be able to look through some of the stuff that happened over the weekend. But I didn't shed a tear, everybody. Although I can tell you that was on Casper's. Casper had that as one of his to-do items, I think, was to try to do that. But again, it's just gratifying when you work that hard on something and then have so many people really appreciate, what transpired. And for me, it was probably, the wonderful culmination of 21 years of CAF. And I think, it is the first, right? It's 1st of February. Tonight is the official 21st birthday of CAF. So we've got that going for us now as well. So we've officially hit it. Marcus is crying in the chat right now. So there you have it. So we'll be talking more later throughout the next month, I'm sure, and leading up probably to being able to announce when OAX2 or I should say OAX 2025 will happen. But it won't take long. We had a follow-up meeting with the venue today, talked about the bad pizza and other things, and told them what our expectations are for year 2. And now the interesting thing will be is how can we leave an even more memorable impression on everyone after 2025. But I can tell you that's our goal. So there was only one, outside of not getting Jason to put the cap mask on. I guess you could say there was one unfortunate thing that happened early on. And as far as I know, it hasn't been resolved, was that J.G. Jones had a couple pieces of art that he did as commissions as pre-con stuff through Jason that disappeared from his table. I guess he had, and it was early too, which makes it rather odd. As it was probably in the first couple hours of the show, I think he'd put out the commission pieces that he had done, probably to make it easier when the people come up to ask for them, and 2 of the pieces disappeared. So whether or not they either got lifted up while somebody else was paying for something, who knows? But I know that Jason's posted the images out there, as has JG. But here are the 2 pieces. I don't know the size. More than likely they were 9x12s, maybe 11x14s. But these are the pieces in question that JG had done as pre-cons that he was going to deliver that weekend. So keep your eye out for these. If they turn up, you can reach out to me, and I can pass along the information to Jason. But you can just go right over to Essential Sequential and contact Jason that way. So the only disappointing moment of the entire weekend. But hopefully it was an accident and not an act of thievery. But it did happen, and there you go. The JG stuff is easily recognizable. So there you have that. Yes, it does go against the comic code. It is a shame, everybody, of course, and hopefully the work does turn up. So what do I got next? Okay, you know what? I think everybody was also, after OAX, we're talking about best of and the voting and how close that was to last weekend. And of course, tonight was going to be our deadline for voting. And I decided to extend that until Saturday night at midnight. Sadar did it. James, we actually had, my name tags we were going to hand out. I was going to wear one and write Sadar on it, but I opted not to do that. And then we forgot to hand them out. But don't you worry, Brett, they will not turn up on Dueling Dealers. But But the thing is that regarding the best of is, so we've extended voting until Saturday at midnight. So any of you who went to OAX and didn't have a chance to cast your votes, now you have 2 more days to do that. I know there's a lot of artworks to go through. I think there were 1,800 pieces of art submitted to it this year. So the 2 extra days is more than enough time for everybody to get that done. However, I did get the new trophy in, just not even like, it was probably like 2 hours before the show. I haven't glued, it's another hammer, so you have to deal with that. But there you go. It's I know it's like it's a cloud. It's not a giant marshmallow. I don't want anybody to think anything differently, but and it was done in with the white filament and gold filament for the CAF 2023. Right now it's not glued in, so that has to be done. And we're not going to glue the hammer into it. The hammer will be loose, so you can wield Mjolnir whenever you feel like it. So it does kind of look like mashed potatoes too. It's a little bit too bright with the light over there. But at any rate, there you go. It's a cloud. It's a cloud. But that is our trophy for 2023, best of 2023. And cloud and lightning bolt sculpted by Gwen as well. So Gwen was busy with these things, with the Berkey Bank and that. So does it come with the DC variant? Sorry, Margaret, no, it does not. It does not. But that's a thought. That is definitely a thought. I can tell you, when we put together the idea to do the auction paddle, I started thinking, what would we do for DC? So I'm open for suggestions, because I can't think of what artifact might work as well as Thor's hammer. But this was an easy one, and I have to say, my second regret going into OAX, I actually wanted to before the auction started to have everybody in the audience raise their paddles and shout, and we didn't do that. But that's okay. There's always next year. But I agree. Let's see. But yeah, hit me up with ideas. I'd be happy to do, because I don't know what we're going to do next year for the paddle, but there's a lot of signature things that we want to keep doing every year and try to better ourselves every single time. We should give out masks. That's a nice idea, Marcus. I wonder which mask you'd like to wear. So that's that. What do we got here? I got a package in the mail while I was at the show, and let's see. This is from Dynamic Forces. So I don't know. I don't recall buying anything from Dynamic Forces, but I have got something in the mail. Let's see. I had a knife up here, and my knife is gone. Here we go. Let's see what this is, but yes, do not delay doing your voting. I know it's the thing is, we always have a ton of people contribute artwork to the best of, and the voting never matches it. So it's the same people that submit work don't cast votes. So everybody, that should be like a requirement. If you're going to put artwork in the best of, you should take the time to cast a few votes for the best ofs as well. Did you get a sticker of my drawing? No, I don't think I did. Bootlegging. I didn't get a sticker. I saw that Jeff Wedding had that great Megacox, Cyclops Blast sticker. I never saw that. Like I said, I literally never got out to look at anything on the floor at all. So the only thing I noticed on Team Oreo's table was the bag of candy. So other than that, I didn't get to see any of the cool swag that they created for the show. They did give me a T-shirt, so I have a Megacox T-shirt. And my biggest fear was everybody shouting Megacox at the reception when they announced my name. That would have been a bit frightening, but it didn't happen. So I'm thankful for that. So thank you for exercising restraint while I was up there, because that would have been embarrassing. My whole family was there, and not all of them know about the Megacox thing. They would have been wondering why you were shouting that. All right, so what we got here? We have a search for Cyclops page that has come in here from Nick, and let's see, from Mr. Tom Rainey. Let me try to get out of the bag here. A lot of tape on this one. Rich Tannies is making a mental note. Next year it can happen. Oh, that's true. Brian Peck mentions the. I should have brought all the tchotchkes that I got, but Jeff Wedding created another poker chip, and that was for OAX. It had it actually had a Mega Cox on the back of it, so that was awesome. I thank Jeff because Jeff has now done four different poker chips that are out there. I've got one of them all. I don't know if you're as lucky as I am to have every single poker chip that Jeff has created, but yeah, I'm not going to be able to get this thing out. There is too much tape on this thing. So here, I'll hold it up. It's a search for site. I got to take this tape off. You're never going to be able to see anything. I'm cutting into the whole thing now. All right, this is how we do it. But yeah, the stickers were cool. And, in the swag bag, we had a few other things in there that I think people appreciated. The sketch card art guys were awesome. We did the free sketch thing on Sunday, which, it worked fairly well. Not every artist participated in it, but we had enough that made it fun. So there were a lot of people that picked up art for free on the sketch cards. So there we go. Awesome. Thank you. This was, what's it say? Rainy, $50 on the back. So another Cyclops for the collection. All right. So I see Mr. Chuck Arnold is in the green room, and he is my co-pilot tonight. So here we go. Hey, Chuck.
Hey, guys. Hey, Bill. Good to see you again so soon.
I know. Well, I feel like we didn't talk at all. I mean, I'd see you every once in a while, but that was the downside to having so many people there, and and having to kind of put out fires and run around, is I didn't get to talk to anybody at length. It was, there's who did I see in the chat earlier that I remember as soon as I saw his name? Oh, Hydra. I remember seeing Hydra when he picked up his badge on Saturday morning. I didn't see him after that. I don't remember seeing him anywhere. And it's just, that was what the whole weekend was.
And it wasn't that big. I mean, it was a good sized room, but it wasn't so large. And also you could see all the way across the room, like you promised, which was wonderful.
Yep.
And the other funny thing, just real quick while I remember it, when my brother-in-law came in on Sunday, he goes, because he's put on conventions before, he goes, and all this pipe and drape is so expensive. I was like,
well, I'll tell you, there was
I was like, you got to drink. It was a drinking game, pipe and drape.
Yeah, we there was a point in time in the planning where we were almost going to buy our own pipe and drape because the prices we were getting, we looked at it and we're like, this is like 90% the cost of buying it ourselves. So, but then I thought about storing it and I'm like, all right, well, and then when we worked with the pipe and drape company to hang the gallery, because they kind of came up with the method for doing that and how they would weight the pipe and drape, we realized, all right, we're out of our league at that point, so we might as well just pay somebody to do all of that. So lesson learned.
I mean, it's a challenging thing to do, but you guys decided to take on the task, and I thought it was incredibly successful. I feel the same way that you do, that I didn't get to talk to. I mean, I missed number one Marvel fan. I think on Friday night I said, "Oh, where's number one Marvel fan?" Somebody said he's over there, and then you started another conversation, and then we realized a couple of days later that we never talked to each other. I was like, "Oh, I always wanted to meet this guy," because I see him in the chat. And so, you kind of get wrapped up in your thing, Chris Snorick and Eric Winger and Tyler, and there's a group of us that, when we see each other, Mikhail, like we kind of like, hey, we just kind of get real rambunctious, and it's hard to I didn't talk to that many artists, Bill.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen Nick Patera in years. Like we talk all the time, but I hadn't seen him in years. And so I just hung out with him a lot, and it's funny because you hear comic artists talk about that a lot. They talk about going to shows and, oh, I like going to you'll hear them say over and over, I like going to shows because of, I get to see the people that I like, and I don't get to see them all the time. And it's the same thing for this community. I mean, this community, which, like, I prefer to think of these original art collectors as a community, even though we collect kind of different aspects of it, it kind of reached a tipping point, right? And that's why we're able, or you and Kazra, along with, I mean, I feel like a part of the community. I'm not You know, I mean, I don't know, but I'm not actively involved in CAF, but I feel like I am because it's a part of this thing that we're all kind of doing together. And it's really exciting. And I know it kind of, you know, there were some people, not to get into it, but kind of saying some things about CAF, about OAX the other night when I got home on Sunday night. They were on a stream. And I was like, and they weren't there. And I was like, well, you weren't there and you don't understand what this was. It was a magical experience. And I believe, you know, they're like, oh, well, this won't be worth anything until he sells it to Reed Pop. And I'm like, what would be the...
Okay, but you probably don't want to tell me who was saying.
Well, I don't want to get into it, but my point being,
I want to get into it.
We can do it. If you sell it after the Reed Pop, more than likely you're not. This is the CAF community. This is why we put it on. That's why we put our art up there.
Right.
That's and it just reached a tipping point to where we could all just descend on one place and get together and have a shared experience. And it may change next year. It may change a little bit the next year. It'll evolve. It'll change. 10 years from now, I don't know. Maybe we'll all be collecting Pogs or something. Whatever it is, my point being is that this was as hippy dippy an experience as it could be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it was a real. I wish I would have gone. And I'll think about it. Chris and I were both talking about it the other day. I was like, I wish that I would have gone. I didn't get to talk to Jimmy Palmiotti. I didn't stop by his, but because I was so busy, I was either picking up art or talking with my friends or looking at art. The thing that I love the most in the entire world is comic books and comic book art. And it was a place that was just for me. So I loved every bit of it. Another thing I kept hearing, and then we can move on with this, but another thing I kept hearing was how much that people were like, I love going to cons. People love going to cons. However, cons have become so many different things. Even at Heroes, you see comic books, but there's not that much comics. There's not that much comic book art. There's not. And again, it becomes a thing where we see each other and it's like, oh, hey, I get to go hang out with Bill for a little while. And so it's nice to have a convention that's just for us, you know, just this niche of a niche. And I really think that what you all did was really amazing. And you know, I can't say enough good things about it. I really can't. Cheers.
Well, hey, if I had I've got a Zevia. Cheers.
Hey, Zevia will do it.
Well, no, I mean, that's, you know, I made the show that I wanted.
Yeah.
I think. And, you know, I just kind of followed my heart on that. It's not like I didn't look at Comic Art Con or what Bashar does on the West Coast or, you know, or what Morgan does at Como. I mean, I made the show that I wanted in Orlando. I mean, I've been thinking about it for 4 years. So it's pretty much, you know, just stayed that course. I didn't reach out to anybody I know. I didn't talk to Patrick Wilshire from IX about the pratfall, you know, things that could go wrong. I really wanted to make all of my own mistakes. And of course, I had Kaz there to help me not make the big mistakes. Thank God for that. But I wanted to make, you know, if I was going to screw up, I wanted to screw up on my own. And then now I can go to Morgan or I could go talk to Patrick and anybody and just say, you know, what do you think? But I had, you know, it was actually really nice. Bashar came up to me in the last hour after he packed up. And came up to me and just told me what a great job, you know, he knows what we went through. And he was like, this is just fantastic. Yeah. So to have another guy, and Shelton, who runs Heroes, emailed me Friday night saying, you know, I want to come down and see, you know, and see the show. I want to see, you know, what you came up with.
Yeah.
And that was, you know, that was cool. I mean, he had other things to do while he was there, but the thing is, you know, he wanted to see what was going on too. Yeah. And I just think that's great. And I think that there's when we look at, you know, I'm going to MegaCon tomorrow. I hate going to MegaCon because the crowds and all the, you know, stuff you can't hear yourself talk to the guy next to you.
A lot of looky-loos.
Right. And it's just and there's a lot of junk. There's a lot of things that don't appeal to me, but you still got to pay the same price to get in, right? And yeah. And so that, you know, so making the show that we wanted was really the goal. And you know, and having it here in the States in a place that's relatively affordable to travel to. I mean, you know, that was it. And we
appreciated it. The
weather on Friday was fantastic, wasn't it?
What's that?
The weather on Friday. I mean, we couldn't have asked for a
beautiful.
nice to be knowing we had to be outside to have it be 84 that day and mid 70s while we were all out hanging around for 3 hours.
Yeah.
We were very fortunate.
Well, we had just gone through like a terrible ice storm here in Tennessee, and so to have that, to be able to travel to that nice weather, and then all the families believe appreciated being able to go to the theme parks. People that had kids or people that liked just riding roller coasters, I mean, there's all sorts of things to do down there. It's a great location for it. And I don't think, looking at the demographic of who was there, none of us mind paying a premium to go to this thing. You could probably hold it at the Four Seasons and have just as many people show up, is my point. But
Yes.
I mean, there's enough lawyers and doctors in that room to sink a ship. So I really, it was a really special thing. The only thing that was missing from there that we had in Columbus was that the sharing tables in the middle. That was more difficult, and it was in the next room. And I think that there was I think there were some people that were doing that in the next room, in the ballroom, but there wasn't quite
not
as
many.
much of that. There was not many. Yes.
Not right. Well, then, the original plans had tables in the room. I mean, because remember, I only wanted to do a
dozen
8,000 square foot room with 10 artists and 2 dealers. That was my original goal, and because that was pretty close to what we did in Columbus. And all the original drawings had tables in the room, but as the scope evolved and we had more exhibitors that wanted booths, and we realized we really needed to line the walls with the booths like we did. It compressed the space in the middle, and so we lost some tables. But I like the idea that Team Oreo had when they stole that high table and put it right beside their booth. I think that was a great idea, and I could see us actually maybe making that a part, putting those tables around strategically on the floor, because why not, right? At the end, I think that would actually work really well and give people the opportunity to do that. But if things go like we think they might, people will know that there's other things going on in the room where we had the collector lounge next year, because it won't be a collector lounge next year, but we've got there's lots of interest in doing a little bit more with the show in year 2. So
I love the galleries. I thought both of the galleries were great. Seeing all of the Marvel card art, seeing all the Adam Kubert art, I thought that was terrific. Just every bit of it. I don't have a negative thing to say, so I really enjoyed it.
Well,
and I think everybody else did too, Bill. I really do. I mean, hopefully everybody made a bunch of money, like all the artists. I mean, all of the artists that were there, hopefully they did a lot of drawing and sold a lot of books or art. Hopefully Mike Allred sold all those lunch boxes.
He didn't have me ship anything back, I could tell you that. So I'd like to think he sold them all. That would be good. But I mean, I mentioned it earlier. I talked to a few artists and who told me they had their best shows ever. And these are, one of them was a 40-year veteran. To have their best show at our show is ridiculous. I mean, how does that even happen?
People are there. You're not having to fight those crowds elbow to elbow with people. I mean, sometimes like Mike Allred, Kevin Nolan, there was like maybe a person or two in line or whatever. You could walk around and come back to them, or wait in line for a couple of minutes. And, I noticed Adam Kubert had a line, and Sean Murphy and Adam Hughes and Jimmy and Amanda. Like there were little lines around, but it was never anything untenable.
Right.
It was it was great. It was great.
Well, we're we've got a few weekends that we're going to look at as far as when OAX 2025 will happen. Probably we're going to be going to, like I meant, Kezra's going to go to MegaCon as well tomorrow, so we're going to walk around, and I'm sure that at the show they'll announce when their next year's show is. So not that really bothers me. I never did anything around MegaCon in the first place. I mean, they were the ones who moved from April to February. So, you know, I wasn't trying to be strategic, but I'm going to stick to what I want, right? I mean, February 1st is our anniversary. I want to keep it close to that. It
You've
turns
got to
out,
remember during that time that the Super Bowl, because my birthday is on the 3rd, and
right? No, we have to stay away from the Super Bowl.
Yeah, stay away from the Super Bowl. That's really the big one, is what I would say. Or maybe that's a cool thing that everybody could just hang out and watch the Super Bowl together on Sunday night. I don't know, but
Yeah, but
it's
no,
a travel
I'd
weekend.
rather avoid it.
Yeah,
Yeah, if I can. But and that was, so it did work out in that regard. But yeah, we'll see. But like I said, we'll know in about 3 weeks or less when we're going to do the next one. And
Great.
yeah, it could be on the same weekend as MegaCon. To me, I really don't care. It would, if it were, you know, it would resolve a lot of our issues with some of the artists not being sure about where they want to go. And if you have it on the same weekend, well, it's one way or the other, man. You know, you do it that way, and I think that's fair too. Given where we're at, I don't think we're going to have a problem attracting a lot of artists to the show next year. You're wearing that shirt.
I'm wearing the shirt. A small donation to Felix's charity. I got the it's easy scoring your trophy piece when you're hanging at Megacox.
Exactly.
So,
that is so true.
Yeah.
And so many people did. That's the crazy part.
Oh
about
yeah.
it, you know?
I found man, there was some great art there. I picked up the Allred piece and a lot of the stuff that I got there. I mean, and I just looked at a lot of great art. I mean, there was the, you know, the House of Mystery, Bernie Wrightson cover, and I saw just amazing art there. I mean, those Adam Kubert blew my mind. Chris and Eric and I were going through that gallery together, and just, I mean, it was mind blowing, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it was just incredible. And all of the art that, you know, and having people always talk about Cool Lines art, and you know, everybody's gotten the email from them with the really expensive prices and everything. And I didn't buy anything from them this weekend, but everything there had a price on it, and they were very friendly. Everybody at that booth was very friendly. So you know, yes, they probably charge too much for their art, but they also seem like they are really fans. Like, one of the guys was sitting there talking, I don't know which one is what or whatever, but he was talking about Chris Picciallo and how much he liked Chris Picciallo, and Chris Picciallo. If you got any Chris Picciallo art, I'll trade X-Men art. I'll trade you for it. And like, you know, I mean, it's the same. We're all the same. So,
oh yeah, I mean,
the only person, Patrick was there, but we missed Doug. So I photoshopped him into a picture for us. So anyway, whatever.
Yeah, I regret. I wanted to go to Hollywood Studios and get my picture with the Allreds in front of the Millennium Falcon. That did not happen.
Didn't happen. I'm sorry to hear that.
I wanted it to, but I got the number wrong from Simon. So when I texted him, I didn't hear back, and so I should have just went there and just forced my way in and made it a point. But I didn't want to do that. You know, I didn't want to think it was weird.
Person. I mean,
yeah, he probably would have welcomed it. I just because when I texted him that afternoon, he's like, "Oh yeah, you should have come by, or I'm only going to be here for another half hour. Can you make it?" And, you know, no, I can't get over there.
Yeah, I can't even park in that amount of time. But
no.
What a I mean, I hadn't met him. I met him, I don't know, 30 something years ago at a con on the West Coast at WonderCon when I was 20. But it was that Amanda really enjoyed not getting neck punched and mowed down right. It's true.
Speaking of Funko, did you see the shirt that Jerry Bourne made? I thought it said Funko on it, right? But I thought it said Funko OA Expo. But the middle actually said Funko with the Funko logo.
Right.
The middle thing actually said fuck no with FUKNO. So it said Funko no OA Expo. I'm gonna wear that tomorrow when I go to MegaCon.
Oh, that's so
because I can't wear the MegaCox t-shirt there. I'll probably be hauled out by security, but that one I'm gonna wear.
Well, I saw somebody wearing the Dan T's drawing of a McSpidey fan had Dan T's drawing of you on the shirt.
Yes, he did. I was a little surprised at that. So did Dan Poddick had it on at the reception. He purposely had to like unbutton his shirt. I'm like, you know, to get a photograph with
right
with that on.
Great. It's so great. Everybody, again, that's community. That's
Oh
one
yeah.
of the things that I really I think is, it's one of the things that that you deal with when you have kids and you have friends and finding your people. I told that story over and over again about Steranko and waiting in line for Steranko, his signature, and the people in front of me and back of me. And we had the best conversations. Steranko says it's because you're with your tribe, and I mean, this is our tribe. This is our people. Even though everybody has different. I mean, some people like sketches. Some people like sketch cards. Some people like one character. Some people like myself collect artists. There's all sorts of different things that people can collect. But it's all kind of part of the same whole. And there's nothing at this point, there's nothing, for anybody to be embarrassed about at all. Like I've laughed at certain things and I've met those people and I've been like, man, now I get it. And I get you're a whatever it is, Superman fan or whatever it is that you're a fan of, like, let your freak flag fly, right?
That is very, very true.
Yes.
And Scott's not lying there. I was because he had something. He had like a bag or something in front of him. I don't know what. And then he moved it to the side just so I could see Dan's lovely sketch of me.
Well, Dan needs to get there next year. I know he had some basketball thing or something, but he would love it. I mean, if anybody, that's what I thought about. If anybody would love it, it'd be Dan and Andre because they love getting sketches. And I mean, everybody was drawing there. Nobody was like, no, I'm not drawing. You know what I mean? It seemed like everybody was drawing. Like it was really.
And we didn't have to ask. I mean, everybody really wanted to, and that was what was pretty cool. And we're back to the whole MegaCon weekend. If we do it next year, I mean, Marvel fan mentioned that he said he would go to both because MegaCon's Thursday through Sunday. You could come in on Thursday and do like Friday over at MegaCon. Come to the reception at OEX that night and stay at OEX for the rest of it. So for people who really want or appreciate the con experience, why not?
A lot of times one day is enough. By Sunday at Heroes, I'm like, I don't need to see anything else.
Right. I mean, 4 days at San Diego or at New York Comic Con. I mean, that's a drag. If I wasn't sitting behind an exhibitor booth most of the time, I sure as heck wouldn't keep going back 4 days for a show. I mean, what can't you see in one day at one of those big shows?
Yeah. What did those shows, do they have exclusives with artists? Are there?
They do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Some of them do. I mean, it's either them or their agents set up exclusives with the shows. I mean, I learned a lot about the business of cons. So, we learned who to avoid and who we could talk to or who, and it actually made it a lot easier when we were thinking about which artists we wanted to have, but, based on those sorts of things. But it's usually like the big artists have exclusives like Silvestri, Casada, Miller, they're exclusive to Fan Expo. Can't have them anywhere else. That's okay. I can't say can't have them anywhere else. Can't have them at another major show. They could never go to a big show. It's just part of like the contracts that they set
Would
up.
OAX be considered a major show? I mean, I'm not
Yeah,
saying
pretty much. Well,
okay,
at least
so 500 people is a major show.
The way it was explained to us, yes, those guys could never go, which is crazy. I mean, I'm not great friends with Mark, but we know each other. I mean, I'd love to ask Silvestri to come to the show wouldn't that would be freaking incredible, right?
Sure.
But probably can't because of the way things get, creators can get locked into something like that, or 5-show deals, all these weird things, and again, that keep them from being able to do other things. And it's not like there's a lot. I mean, there's thousands of artists out there that we can work with. So the few hundred that get locked into those sorts of deals doesn't really affect us to have a really great show. I mean, look what you saw. We had a great show for year one.
Yeah.
Like Jimmy says, the exclusives are a money grab. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the contracts are very, very lucrative. I mean, that's kind of the nature of the big shows these days. Everything's about signing and less about sketching. And so if and I don't blame any artist for wanting to get some money, right? I mean, for so long there weren't opportunities like that for creators to make cash, and now it's out there. But but again, it's back to like, well, what kind of show do you want to have? How do you, which fan base do you really want to appeal to? Because clearly, we're not the signing crew, right? We're not the ones that are going to pay $50 to slab a signed comic, but we'll pay $500 for a piece of art. So, what do you, it's back to then the creator
Right.
to make the decision, you know, for what they want, what their career path at the moment is going to be. With regards
500,
to the fan.
5,000, 10,000, 12,000. I mean,
Yeah.
like it's funny because this really gets creators paid. I mean, the companies have been fucking them for screwing them over for so long and paying them lousy rates and saying, "Oh, well, you can sell your art or this and that." This is the other kind of tipping point that we've reached where, and yeah, it's expensive, but there's also tons of affordable art out there. It's not like there's just one thing. Like you were like, "Oh, I have to collect original rights and pages from Swamp Thing." Well, you're gonna have to pay for those, but you know, if you want something by Bernie Wrightson, it's not cheap, but it's affordable. Like you can get pages. You can be like, I want all the pages from I don't know, The Weird or something like that. You know what I mean? There's tons of stuff out there. There's all different levels of it, and this also, you know, getting these artists paid and which is really important. And also, how many times this weekend, and then we can move forward because we could talk about this all night, I'm sure. Like I was listening to Nick talk with different people, you know, about what he was doing with Axe Wielder John. And you know, kind of like there's all sorts of different, and I was talking to Kevin Nolan about that, and I don't think it's a secret, so I can say it. Kevin Nolan was like, I was like, well, he said, after I'm finished with this Superman thing, I'm going to do my own thing. How much do you want to see that? Something Kevin Nolan writes and draws, and he's able to do it because he's able to, one, sell his art. He knows that he can sell his art for an amount of money that's like he can make a living off of, and then also he's got enough people, enough of a fan base that they'll buy whatever book he puts out. However he decides to do it. If he decides to Kickstart it or Dark Horse or whatever venue he goes through to self-publish. But it's a lot better than being paid pennies to, you know, do another Batman story. Not that there's anything wrong with Batman. Batman's great, but like, you know, other if you're not getting a super page rate for it, like, I mean, why do it? And you don't have to do that anymore. You know, the world, comics isn't ending. Comics is just beginning. It's just starting. Like, this is getting bigger, and it can be whatever it needs to be. So,
wow, you're an advocate, Jack.
Absolutely.
I should have you on more often.
Yeah, I think.
You know, well, and that's the thing. I think most of us as collectors are advocates for all of this.
Absolutely.
There are many of us who preach the good word of original art collecting, and yeah.
And everyone that misses Chris Snorrick tonight, he's sick. He caught some crud at the con, and he's down for the count. He texted me last night, and I tagged in for him. So that's what I'm doing here. So happy to do it. Happy to do it. He's a great friend.
I'm glad you're able to step in.
He's a great dude, and I love that guy. So
same here. What else did I see here? Yeah, Damon mentioned, yeah, Berkey had a really good show. He's actually only going to do San Diego one more time, and he's cutting it out of his schedule. He's only going to do New York and OAX from now on.
Well, that's great.
So, yeah,
wonderful. He has some great art there. You know, he has just bins and bins of art to kind of flip through. I mean, I went through it myself, and Nick ended up picking up that Quietly.
I saw that. Yeah. And he posted some photographs of the CEO mixer up in Casper's room.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that was fun.
That was a good time. We should have let more people know about that. We didn't really have a plan for that, but there was still like 60 people up there at one point.
It was packed and loud, and
I know. I was worried that somebody was going to call security.
I think Nick and I and Simon was out there, and Tyler and Nick Dergott. We were all in the hallway most of the time. Oh, and thank you, by the way, for those Chaikin.
Oh yeah,
Bill gave me some Chaikin prelims that he had that were packing material from the Chaikin sales that he had. So he gifted those to me, which was very kind. But yeah, we were out in the hallway the entire time. It's just these old ears, man. I couldn't hear a thing in there.
I mean, I felt the same way, but because Casper wasn't even there for like half of it, and I'm like, well, I gotta hang out in case.
Or he'd go downstairs and get a bunch of people and then come back up.
Exactly. um, but yeah, even and I saw Jason mention it too. Just as far as the show goes, Anthony was he was always like, there's too many artists there. There's not going to be enough money in the room. Blah blah blah. And Anthony had a good show. But he always had people at his booth. And the one thing Mike told me, because I didn't get a chance to talk to him, I literally did not talk to Mike the whole weekend, and I talked to him yesterday, and he said this was the first time where there was always somebody going through my bins from the beginning of the show to the end. He goes, I could be at New York and go 2 or 3 hours where nobody stops at the booth to look through the bins. He said there was always somebody looking at art, and I was like, damn, that's awesome. I mean, that's so cool, because it's true. I've sat at Mark Hayes' booth in San Diego for before, and I've been with Mike at a lot of different shows, and it's true that you get those lulls in New York in particular. San Diego is usually pretty good, but New York is for art dealers is really, it can be hit or miss. If you make good deals with other dealers sometimes, and you don't have the art collectors there, even though it's New York. You think it would be great. But it's not always that way.
Hard to navigate to it. I mean, I know that at a lot of those large shows, anytime I've been at C2E2, you kind of go up and down aisles, and then you're like, oh, hey, here's some original art. Like that'll be, you just kind of run into it. It's not as easy to find.
Right.
So
right. No, very true.
Yeah. You had a captive audience there. You had people that were interested in this one thing.
Did you like the Berkey Bank? You saw that, right?
I did. It's so funny though. I brought my wife and daughter by just to kind of say hello to everyone. And on Sunday, she saw the Berkey Bank, and I was like, "You said they're for sale?" And I said, "Abby," because we love watching. He does the whip and all that, and watching Dueling Dealers. I'm like, "Abby,
Right.
do you want to Mike Berkey Bank?" She goes,
I told
it looks great though. What did your
single.
daughter? Did she model it in ZBrush or Blender or?
I think it would have been ZBrush. It's whatever they're teaching her to use from Full Sail.
Yeah.
It's like working in clay. I know. I mean, look,
it is. It's just like working with clay. It's a great program. So it looks really good. Look at that.
She did it. I know she did.
I mean, it looks like him. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's uncanny.
Yeah.
But
you didn't sell any, but no. You should have given him away with the art. Mike giving something away. Come on.
I know. I see.
It's so funny that he wouldn't come off $25 on that Faffer and Gray Mouser page, and I wouldn't.
And
budge.
you didn't budge.
I didn't budge, but I saw it there. I was like, oh, this is so nice. But anyway.
Yeah.
You win some, you lose some. That's the name of the game.
Yeah, next year we'll try to have a vendor with storage, portfolios or bags or something, because we had a lot of people ask about that. And the night before we came down, Emma actually has been working at Joann Fabrics, and they do have Itoyas there. So when Maureen picked her up from work on Thursday afternoon before she came down, I called her and said, can you just buy as many 11 by 17s as they have? And they had like 10 of them, and we sold 6 of them because people needed them to take stuff home. And I saw West Coast Avengers mention that. So my hope would be next year is there's like 3 vendors that we can talk to, and just to try to get one, even if they just donate it. It wouldn't be just for good PR. Send me 1,000 bags with a business card in it, and we'll give them away. We'll put them in the swag bags.
For sure.
I mean, that's cheap. So we have a long list of things that we'd like to accomplish next year. But
you have a wish list of artists, or is there like?
Well, the thing is, I actually, the thing you can imagine, we talked to 20 other artists that we couldn't take on. I mean, there's an international artist that I spoke with 6 months ago that I would have loved to have had at the show. I'm going to probably go to them first, because I know we're always going to be limited on our budgets with with people who are out of the country. It's just it just costs a lot. But this is somebody that hasn't been in the States in a very long time, and works in mainstream, with mainstream books, and their work's very sought after. And I can just
I
leave it
think
there.
we talked about them. I think I know who that is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but they're the one, I want to talk with them and a close friend of theirs that
yeah.
you mentioned that would be interested. And I think if we can get them to come out, that would be a good, like, first volley to get out there. Mike Sack. Yeah, well, we're honestly, sure, we're going to talk, Beatty's, obviously down here, and he has a hotline to Mike. I mean, you never know. Anything's possible. The cool thing is
I have one. Sean Phillips. I don't ever see him at shows. That's one.
Sean was actually on our list this year, and I won't explain what happened because it was not. But Sean, he works with Mark and Mark Hay, and we wanted Sean to come out. I haven't seen him in I got my first San Diego, which is probably 2003.
Wow.
So super nice guy, love his art. But yeah, we tried and failed. And it wasn't meant to be. But sure, he would be on my list. I mean, there's you can imagine there's a lot of people on our list. West Coast says I already told Pisker. Well, we talked. Well, I won't give it all away. But we actually did talk with the kayfabe guys about some stuff. But their schedules didn't jive with what we were doing this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'd love to
I can't
get
imagine not wanting to get out of Pittsburgh in January.
I know. Well, that was we felt that would be, but I think both their schedules. Ed was, I mean, he was out of the country for a little, or he was out of the States for a little while, and then he was back. And I just think that it didn't work perfectly for both of them. But there's always next year.
Yeah, and probably everybody was sort of. There are some people that jump right in the water, and there's some people that like to wait a little bit and see, like,
it could have been a flop.
What's that?
It could have been a flop. I mean, at the end of the day, he didn't. Neither of them. I'd never spoken. I spoke once to Jim before in the past, and but it was kind of Kazra and I had a nice conversation with them, and we waited a couple weeks for them to make a decision on it. So yeah, I mean, I'd love it, but at least we basically said we'd love to get both. They want to get me over on their channel at some point for an interview, and of course I want to do interviews with both of them too. So one way or another,
they're always at Heroes. I mean, they're like, So, and I mean, you should definitely be on their channel. And like, I watched an interview they did today with David Cho, and he was just such a fascinating individual. But what they do, I mean, they are comics evangelists, and they get out there, I mean, it's all of this weird stuff. I mean, it's not just the mainstream stuff, and everybody has their opinions about it, whatever. But they go really deep into some of the oddball things that have come out over the years, and some of the mainstream things. Like, we're all, again, kind of around the same age, but really have the same, they pulled this thing out yesterday that was an interview with Rob Liefeld from like when he was 28. So it would have been right after he left Image. I haven't watched it all yet, but I have that comics journal, and I hadn't looked at it in years. And I looked, and there is this interview with Rob Liefeld, and it is so revealing. Like, he's just so straight. I mean, because sometimes he puts on a lot of airs or whatever. He wasn't putting on any airs in this interview. And I mean, it's not that I'm saying he's not truthful, because I think that he is, and I think he's a talented individual. But I also, like, as time goes on, people kind of write their own story, and this it's right there in print. So it's just fascinating, because comics history is fascinating. Chaikin will tell you all about it.
Yes, he will.
Yeah,
I was just scrolling through the list of all the names people are mentioning. Peach and John Byrne, Art Adams, Alan Davis, Zach. Brian Peck mentioned about having Dune Beer out with artist editions. I mean, I was just on the phone with Scott last night. So yeah, no, I mean, it was something we had talked about. It just, there's so many things we can do. It's back down to, what things do we want to do and are easy for us to swing. And I talked to Scott. He was one of the first people I spoke to, because even before Kazra really came on board, I thought, well, who would be a good person to help me, get in touch with some artists that I might not have contacts with myself and Scott.
Mhm.
I've known Scott for a long time, so he was somebody I talked with originally, and then but at any rate, yeah,
Hey, Scott Campbell would love to do this sort of thing. It seems
Yeah.
like the sort of thing he'd like. Yeah, it's a great thing. It's a really great thing. I can't anybody that is out there who was on the fence about this year or just couldn't make it. It's you should definitely come next year, even if you're not like you don't have to be flush with cash. Even though I did make a few impulse purchases. See the Wolverine painting that's up here and the
Mhm.
Flex Mentallo page.
Oh,
That's
you
in
got that? I didn't. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
When All Red showed those, that I like that one. That was a good one.
That's the
I
best
felt like
one. I mean, right? I mean, it's incredible. I was
right. I
sitting
mean,
here
well,
and I picked up this, and then I saw that, and I saw it up close, and I was like, I have to have it, and
mhm.
I just went for it. And you have one right behind you too. I
I
mean,
do. Mine's just a
they're
little bit bigger than yours, but
more than a little bit, but comparatively for the price,
I
it's pretty
know. I
good.
mean, hey, Jimmy Palmiotti's got one the same size. I'm sorry, Amanda has one.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. We're all part of the same family then. Well, I mean, it's something interesting. What's Mike Allred doing? Sometimes people will try and say, okay, I want to be a fine artist.
mhm.
What can I? Oh, I'm going to start painting trees or whatever. Uh, This is Mike bringing pop art back. He's like pop art. He's like, this is our. You come. Don't Roy Lichtenstein me. This is my turf. I drew this. So I think that we have some art for posterity.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Nope, I'm with you there. And yeah, and I had to talk to Larry after that. I mean, I was dreading the idea of shipping it to him, even though Mike had shipped it to me,
yeah,
but just repacking it and then hoping it doesn't get damaged. And then as soon as I started thinking about that, I was like, well, wait a minute. That was oh, there you go. I've got it backwards. That was
yeah,
on the lanyard. I'm thinking, wait, I couldn't afford the hues. I knew I wasn't going to get Simone's piece because I knew that Matt was going to be interested in it. And then Steve, who did the trading card art gallery, was interested in it too.
yeah,
So I thought, all right, well, I'm going to get the All Right if Larry will let me buy it.
yeah.
And he was like, yeah.
Well, I thought the art in the art auction was where the bidding started was good and nothing went too crazy. I bought Nick Patera's piece. I'm very happy with it. I love it. I mean, everybody at our table bought something. I think Patrick didn't get something, but almost
Mhm.
everybody got something. I mean, it was all prices. There was
Right.
stuff that went pretty expensive to all the way to, the Adam Hughes, Simone Bianchi stuff. So
Yeah, but nothing too crazy and
yeah,
everything. Because I think it went pretty much for retail at the end of the day. When I was looking at it, and a few pieces. The Larry Stroman goes for $850. I mean, that was it's a very nice piece, but
yeah.
if you can get Larry to do something, it might take you a while or whatever. But that was the cool thing
Maybe that's
at
what it
the end of the day was just seeing because I had to go base. I asked a few of the people what their retail was, but most of it I kind of just did it from like what I expected, and then I said it what I did. Just and I don't mind telling this to everybody when I set what I thought the retail was, and then I set the opening bid at 40% what I thought the retail was because I thought that was a fair number to rather than starting it at zero.
Sure. It's
Which
just
made
going
it
to take, it's more time too. I mean,
right.
the auction was 4 hours.
It was
Like
3 hours.
3 hours. It was
3 hours on the money. Next time it'll be 2.5 or less. I can get, but it
Yeah.
felt like 4 hours. That's what you're saying, Chuck. Now,
Yeah.
and that's okay because it
Yeah.
felt like 4 hours to me too. But it was only when we got done, it was 8:45.
Okay.
But the pizza, but okay. When you say it, truthfully, yeah, like when the bar opened and everything, that was right after 5. So,
Yeah.
all right,
Well,
you
I
got
was
me there.
questionable about how early it was. But it ended up being that early was probably a good thing. Otherwise, we would have gone all into the night. So I think that was a good move.
Well, it's it's like you don't do one or the other, right? You can either let people go out to dinner and then come back, kind of like
Yeah.
Heroes is kind of like that,
Yeah.
but the trick is they might not come back.
Yeah.
In Orlando and in Charlotte, it's a little bit easier. They might eat close and they can come back to that, but in Orlando,
Yeah.
they can go 10, 15 minutes away and have such a good time they're not going to come back. So we really got to roll from the show into the auction. But like Casper mentioned earlier, I didn't even have a piece of pizza, but from everything I heard, the pizza was not very good. So we let them know that. We're like, we need good food to keep people here, because a few people were like, they couldn't wait to bolt to go to dinner, right? Because they didn't want to eat the pizza. So we can't have that happen again.
It was nice having that little bar, right? I mean, that was nearby, so we went there a couple of times. So
maybe we'll do an open bar at the auction next time. You never know. Casper's getting mad. Good thing he's not live with me now. He's only in the chat. But I mean, just trying to come up with the one thing we need to do a better job of is getting the art visible beforehand, so people can take a look at it. So the Hero does a good job of that.
I thought that once you guys started walking around with it, I think that's a good idea. They did that at Baltimore, remember, when we were at that auction? I think that's a great idea, to walk up and down the aisles with what's selling. It's a lot more visible. I thought that was good. But I mean, having the projector was perfect. The projector was great. The sound
that was what we were hoping. Yeah,
the sound was good. We couldn't hear it, but we were on the side. But I'm sure right there in the middle probably was a lot better. But
where I was sitting, like right in front of the stage, it was perfect. But and that guy, again, Ethan was great. He when we announced the show, he was the first person that emailed me, like at the end of May or in June, saying, "Oh, you wanted to help out." And I kind of just I created a folder and I put that in there. And when we started, talking to other vendors and things, and just trying to figure out who could do what, we reached out to him, and he was like, it was volunteer.
Yeah,
and that was a great, it was just, it was great. And there were a lot of, there was a lot of other people who volunteered services.
Well, that's another thing about this, Bill, and it's something that I was going on to all these guys about this weekend, which is like, we are part of this same group. Like, if there is somebody that has a business that they think that like your business could help my business, people should talk more about those sort of things. I'm like, I really do. I don't think it just has to be comics. I think it should be all of it. Like, we're like a, men and like in Miller's Ale House.
I didn't even get over there, but I know that there were many drinks were poured over at Miller's Ale House.
Yes,
and
the food's not bad. It really wasn't bad food. Decent wings.
No, I go to Miller's a few times a year over here, because they're very good. But we're almost at the 2-hour mark here, man.
Okay, let's go.
And we're going to be talking about OEX a lot, I think, for the next couple of weeks, and it's all good though.
And
I mean,
for a long time coming.
Exactly. Fish and chips. All right, so let's see here. What are we gonna do? We'll do we've got the heritage picks that I did, and then we're gonna do the EXP thing. I've got so many things all over the place here, but we'll go ahead and take a look at the heritage stuff real quick. Let's see, sharing my screen, window in it. Where are you? Oh, there it is. I'll go quick through these. They had some really good stuff. I mean, I was like, wow, is the whole weekly auction going to be filled with bangers? And it wasn't, but nice Mike Mignola piece from Almost Colossus, right? I was like, shoot. And I'm thinking, holy mackerel. You don't see that stuff on the weekly auction too often.
Holy cow. Look at that first panel. That's a great panel.
I know.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, no,
I've never sketches over there on the side.
I've never owned a Mignola Hellboy page, so one of these days it's going to happen.
Yeah,
but not after not after OEX. I didn't spend my budget though. That was.
Did you buy art? You bought some besides your Silver Surfer there?
Only a couple things. Yeah,
have you read that run of Silver Surfer? Let me ask.
Not yet. Now I have to. I was ashamed to admit that.
I just started reading it again. It's wonderful. Also, that new Allred Superman Space Age book's really good too. Anyway, let's go. Hal Foster.
Hal Foster, exactly. This is a pretty beat up Hal Foster, Prince Valiant, I think from the 40s, right? Yeah, 43. But so it could use a little restoration work, but still, man, it's a Hal Foster, and it's at $3,000 now. This thing is going to probably end up at like 15 or 16 just because it's a Sunday. It's huge, and regardless of the work that might be needed to kind of clean it up. I mean, it's a Hal Foster. Remember we got to see those Hal Fosters in at
in
the Billy
Columbus.
Ireland.
Yes, I want to go
So-
back there. I haven't. Billy Ireland. I love going there. Have to get back there sometime. I like this fourth panel here where he's like, "Girl, you tell me something."
That's right. Yeah. But Alberto, thank you, Alberto, for that super chat. I appreciate it. Yeah, we're
Man,
ready for
Alberto,
OAX.
nice to meet Alberto. I was like,
Yes,
Alberto,
and-
like you are targeted on Dueling Dealers every week.
Every week, yes.
Poor Alberto.
Larry
Good luck.
says he wants the surfer back until I read the omnibus. I'm sorry, Larry. I know the gist of the story. I've just not. I've never pulled the trigger on buying the book. I
so
apologize.
good.
And Jeff had a super chat earlier too that I was too busy to highlight, but I appreciate that too.
Jeff
Anyway,
Wedding.
yes,
I
Jeff
talked
Wedding.
to him a lot this weekend too. What a great dude! I mean, what a great dude. Great dude.
The restoration lady was okay after OAX, Peter. She just got a little frustrated trying to find the place and gave up, unfortunately. But I've hooked her up with a couple people who wanted me to pass along her contact information.
Whoever buys this should talk to her.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna have her back for and then the next one. It was kind of my bad. I didn't give her explicit directions on how to get there, and she got turned around. So let's see what else we got. Then there was, look at this, a Justice League cover
That's a fun
from
one.
75 by Ernie Chan. I mean, again, just the idea that there's going to be something from the mid 70s that's out there, I thought was just cool to highlight. I was like Chan, and there's Hawkman on here. I know we've got one or two Hawkman fans out there. Aquaman might be.
Hawkman's behind.
Yes, exactly.
Hawkman should have a hairier back than that. Come on, Ernie Chan.
Yeah, well, Ernie was taking it easy that day, but still, I mean, come on, a JLA cover in a weekly auction is.
I always loved it, like these like Robin. I know you didn't read DC that much, but like when Robin would be Batman, like the future Robin with the bat. I always thought that was so cool. Like they'd have this kind of random stuff, like. Oh, Nick Baruch. Talked to Nick Barucci a lot this weekend on Friday night. We what a great guy that guy. He's awesome. All
right, my next piece, Kevin O'Neill, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen splash page. I mean, anytime you can get, stuff from the run almost, doesn't get on the market too often. So.
Kevin O'Neill has this style. It's like Franklin Booth, but like also kind of future. I don't know. He has this amazing style. Alan Parkhouse, is that the guy's name? The British guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with the work.
Anyway, I don't know. I love his ink work. I love Kevin O'Neill. He's the guy that did martial law in the 80s. Right? Yeah,
look at that. Anyways, I thought this was awesome.
Yeah, that's great. Rivets,
splash.
All the rivets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then I actually picked a bunch of kind
I
of.
wonder how they choose what goes into these instead of going into the other auctions. Like
I don't know.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
It's somebody's job to figure that out over there.
Yeah.
Sam Keith Sandman.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
I've never seen anything like that before. That's better than any of the work he did on the comic book. I always thought the work he did on the comic looked kind of amateur, but that's great.
Let's see.
Those deep shadows, those long shadows on the nose. All that ink. Yeah. Love it. Beautiful.
I agree. I'm coughing here.
Okay. I can
My
keep
Zevia went down the wrong pipe.
Yeah, it happened.
Then we got a George Pratt. We just saw George Pratt last weekend.
Again, somebody else I didn't get to talk to. I watched the interviews with him. I love his work, and I saw him there. And then I talked to this person, talked to that person. So, are you when you do it next year? I mean, are some people going to return, or are you planning on all new artists every year, or 50-50, 60-40? Don't know yet.
We're not sure yet. I mean, our philosophy was that we really did want to have not 100% different lineup, but at least probably half. because I don't see us being able to expand too much. I mean, maybe we go from 60 to 70 artists, maybe, but that would mean we'd need more people in the room too. And but yeah, as far as turnover, you can go to your mega cons out there and see the same artists every year if you really want that. That's not really what we'd want to do. I'd want to be able to highlight different artists. You have a core group of people that would come back, 2 out of 3 years, something like that. But a rotation is really needed. I mean, we've really viewed what we did this year kind of as we were kind of curating a good show, right? And I would see us doing the same thing next year, which is tough, right? Because I think everybody, I mean, it was a good show for everybody. So it's not going to be easy to have to do that, but you got to do it, right? I mean, at least I think you got to do it. At any rate, George Pratt, he was sitting next to James Martin. Both those guys are from Ringling. We definitely want to engage a little bit more with Ringling next year too. So
good idea.
Yeah, I mean, you've got, it's a wonderful school. There's a few other teachers there that I'd love to have come out next year, more illustrators, I guess. But yeah, that's a school I'd love to get involved, have them bring some students out on Sunday, something like that. Paul Gulacy. I think every time I see something by Paul, I end up picking it. I just love his style. Who was it? Charles Yoakum was the inker on this one, but just the composition of the page. I mean, that's a big thigh gap, I guess, in the top there. But still, this is a great page.
Yeah.
And Collector's Webbing says, please do Friday too. It all depends. You never know. Never say never. Then Leonardi, another artist whose work, every time I see it, I think I just love it. I only have one page by Leonardi, but he's somebody whose work I just admire. And this is Austin Inks on it too, from Warlock and the Infinity Watch. So very nice.
What is Leonardi's style? I love it so much. It's almost like George Bridgman or something, but he always has these kind of like thick, dark parts and then these lines that he does. I mean, it's unmistakably his, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I like his stuff.
Yeah.
And then 2 more sketches to end things off. Jason Pearson.
I saw this one earlier. I loved Jason Pearson's art so much. I don't know what happened to him. I did hear Scott Doonbeard say that he scanned all of Body Bags and all of his art. Like, he's got tons of his art that he's scanned. So I can't wait to see OA or artist editions of that stuff. I always thought he had the most interesting and unique style. Love his work. That's great.
Yeah. And that one's as soon as I saw that one, I knew I had to pick it.
But after you were talking to the guy the other day, when they say, oh, we take photographs of these, you can tell it now. Now I see it, because that's why you're getting this. It doesn't look flat black, because I bet in person it's pretty flat black, but he's shooting it with a camera, like a high, That's why that happens. Or when you look at Magnola's, you're like, why does that look like that? It doesn't look like that in person.
Right. All right, one more here. Matteo Scalera, Spider-Man. So I guess I leaned heavy on the commission side of things this time around, but
there's a bunch of them in there.
Yeah, I think they spelled his name wrong too, didn't they? Scalera. Yeah, they didn't put an E in; they had an A in there. But either way, I mean, that should be an affordable piece by Matteo, I would think, at the end of the day.
Do you, as an artist, do you ever think, how does he think like that? He's thinking like, okay, I think I'm going to draw Spider-Man. All right, I'm going to do this shot where I'm laying down on the ground, buildings are coming up around him, and he's jumping. I mean, that's something else. Oh, and then I'm also going to do it like negative. I'm going to do it in black and white with his, he's not even drawing the webs. Like, he didn't care. And it reads as Spider-Man. So
exactly.
That's so cool.
Well, there you go. That's my 10 picks from Heritage.
Good picks.
All right. Well, then I'm going to show the EXP video. Nick he's on tomorrow. Obviously, he missed last week. Yep. Let's see. Now, I didn't even watch this one yet, so I don't know what he's got for sale tomorrow. But let's take a look at this, and we'll all find out. Remember, he's 7 o'clock almost every Friday for a little over an hour. He has his show over on the EXP channel. So here is the video clip.
Everybody, we're back. Last weekend was OAX, and I gotta tell you, Bill Cox, Kazra, the whole team threw one of the most unbelievable original art meccas of all time, and I can't wait to talk about it. We're gonna have a fairly short show this Friday, just too much going on, but we are gonna talk about OAX. We're gonna have, I was just thinking about the name everybody else gave it. This is a family channel, so I can't say that, but this Friday, February 2nd, 8 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, make that 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on the Original Art Experience. We're going to have some great art. Now, a lot of expensive art sold at OAX, and I mean a lot of expensive art. So what I wanted to do was bring some affordable art this week. So let's get to it. We are going to have another great Captain Britain page by Leonard Kirk. We are going to have Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes by Patrick Scherberger. We are going to have Sean Chen, Avengers Academy. We're going to have Jim Muniz, Marvel Knights Fantastic Four. We're going to have Dale Eaglesham, twice Dale Eaglesham. And some of these pages may be 100 or less. You never know. We're going to have Mark Bagley, Scarlet Spider. Check it out with the patch. The pencils, the editor decided something different had to be done. So, blue line patch right there. We got a little bit of House of M, Masters of Evil, a little bit of Fernando Pasaran. We're going to have this gorgeous Tony Daniel Rich Bunk Teen Titans cover with Brother Blood. Check it out. We're going to have the last, and this really is the last, Witchblade Red Sonja cover. This is the last Sheena cover that I have. Then we may finally get to the Spawn Dark Ages page. We're going to have these 2 pages of Shogun Warriors by Herb Trimpe and Dan Green. Then, the creme de la creme, we're going to have this Amazing Spider-Man 33 cover with Black Costume Spider-Man and Kraven the Hunter. Oh my God, is this a flashback or what? John Romita Jr., Scott Hanna, and then this Amazing Spider-Man 35 cover by John Romita Jr. and Scott Hanna. This is gorgeous. Spider-Man is the Green Goblin. Now, we're also going to have our commissioned cover art by Ken Hazer. Check it out. We'll also be donating some pieces and some money to Kavi. As we all know, great member of the community, got hurt right before OAX. It's going to take him a little bit of time to get better. So Andy Fish donated this. So all the money from this Rocketeer will go to Kavi. We'll also have more art, more to be shown, more to be talked about, more to be offered. So this Friday, February 2nd at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, check it out, the Original Art Experience. Hit that thumbs up and share. Sharing is caring. Look forward to being seen on Friday by you. Have a great one, everybody.
There you go. Love that.
Hey, Bill, I just sent you something.
Yeah.
Nick Patera and I had a conversation with Frank Quitely, and it posted today. There's something that he's doing. I can't remember the name of it. I have to look it up real quick. I don't think Nick's in the chat, or I haven't heard from him. It's called, it's like a community, I think, of people. It's called Vast Vision.
Okay.
And it's, Nick and who's the guy that draws Chew? What's his name?
Oh, shoot. James, if he was in the chat, would scream it.
Yeah, Rob Gilroy,
Yeah.
and maybe some other people. I'm not sure, but it's kind of like a collective. I think it's just about like getting people to make their own comics. I'm sure that there's more to it, so I don't mean to minimize it when I'm talking about it. But anyway, we did a conversation with Frank Quitely, and some people may have heard Nick and I chatting about it this weekend. But anyway, it posted on YouTube. So if you want to share that in the chat, I can't share it in the chat, but when you get a second, I just emailed it to you. So if anybody wants to watch it, it's kind of interesting. It's more interesting listening to Quietly and Nick talk about what they're basically talking about. Is Quietly is doing a cover for the next exclusive cover for the next Axe Builder John graphic novel. Some people may have picked it up this weekend, and it's
I missed it.
Oh yeah,
I wanted one. I forgot.
Yeah, well, we'll get you one. Okay. I'll make sure he sends you one. But it's a conversation between Quietly and Nick about the creation of that cover, and they're kind of discussing. So you get to see a little bit behind the scenes, a little bit of art direction, and I'm just there for just to be pretty. So
you do that so well.
They needed a good-looking guy on there too, so there I was.
Well, I did share it in the chat, so anybody can at least bookmark it and get back to it later.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see here. I'll hit the CAF update stuff really quick for everybody. Not a whole lot. It was kind of a slow week in general for dealers. So let's see. Our dealers, $165,000. And that was from $103,000 the week before. So I don't know what they were doing the week before, but not a lot of action over there. But let's see here. Number one selling item, Albert Moy. He sold a Marvel Treasury Edition Howard the Duck cover. And all pencils, Gene Colan, $15,000 asking price on that one. Then what do we got here? A Fantastic Four John Byrne page from issue 235, page 18. The Albert sale again. This one went for $12,500.
John Byrne.
Yeah, I remember looking at that one. It had Thor on it.
So good.
Then Mike. Looks like you. No, this is Anthony. I'm sorry. That's right. Anthony had this one. $12,000 was this Frank Miller Electra pinup.
Something.
Then a Spiegelman. I don't think we have Spiegelman on the list ever, but this was some homage to Rube Goldberg, sold by Scott Eater for $10,000.
That's nice.
Yeah. Then a Stephen Hickman Savage Sword cover from Marvel, 1985. One for $8,500, sold by Will. Hickman passed away a couple years ago. Pretty famous painter in his own right. Worked a little bit with the studio guys. And then we have a Paulo Rivera Hellboy BPRD trade paperback cover that was sold by Mark for $7,000.
How awesome was Paulo Rivera's? Everything that you saw by him this weekend.
I love that guy.
Single thing. The Spider-Man 67 thing, all those paintings, the pages or whatever, the Tyler, anything anybody showed me, they're like, Paulo Rivera painting, kid, whatever. Every single thing was awesome.
I know he's amazing. I missed him while he was gone, while he was becoming a family man and all that stuff. So it was really great. I mean, because remember we talked at Comic Art Live, he couldn't make it. He said he couldn't make it. Then it was like about a week later, he reached out and said, I think I might be able to do a vacation. And I'm like, okay, we're
the family and they can go do. Yeah.
You come out. We will make sure, because he was like, my dad's coming, my mom will be there. And we're like, okay, we're going to do whatever, we can to have you come out, and we'll make sure you have a good time with your parents. And so he got that. That worked out good. Auctions. What do we got? Auctions pretty stable. 370 the week before when we didn't have a show. 375 last week. So let's see. eBay sold about 138 of this in Heritage.
George Perez.
Yes, George Perez, JLA Avengers page, issue 4. Page went for $5,600. Then this next piece actually
600. Okay.
I know. This one is Alex Raymond, Secret Agent Daily,
cool.
1934. Yeah. It sold for, I know it was listed around 4, but it sold with a make offer at 3. So it's pretty nice.
So the strips have still not died. Apparently, Carol Day is getting more popular.
I know. I saw Ruben posted some to CAF today that were for sale. Yeah. And then this is a Turner Batman sketch went for $2,000. Then John Byrne, Marvel Team Up. This one went for $9,900. Lots of Thor on there. I think that's what helped propel that one a little bit. Then what was this? Oh, there were 3 Sundays in this slot from the Phantom, art by Cy Berry, of course, went for $9,332. And Nick Carty. See, well, I guess they're going in there. This is probably, yeah, from that same set of pieces. Nick Carty World's Finest cover went for $9,000. And yeah, and you're looking at the totals, 237,000 for the week for Heritage. So that was that's pretty good for them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we can get into our picks now, Chuck.
Let's do it. We can go fast. We don't. I'll try not to talk too much, but I'm trying to slow down. Although I did go back through the chat and I saw that Kazra said Barry Windsor Smith. I was like, fuck yeah, Barry Windsor Smith.
Barry Windsor Smith would be great to get to OAX 2025. I mean, he had we kind of talked about him, way back when, not with him, but because pie in the sky, and then he had the health problem, and then we were like, all right, we're not even going to ask. Hopefully, he gets better, and we can ask him for 2025. So, Kazra has inroads with a lot of people, so you never know.
That's amazing. Just to have him come, show up, and just let me hear the guy talk for an hour, like.
Right. I mean, he doesn't, yeah, he doesn't have to do a lot to be, he would be revered if we can
Put
get him
up
out
on
to a
the
show.
Iron Throne.
Yeah. Yeah. We would definitely have to give him his own corner because he would probably always have a throng of people hanging out.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. So
Got Mannix, Marcus.
So whose collection is this one? Oh, Thomas. All right. Yes, we all know number one fan here. But it's a cap. It's Cap and the Red Skull.
Yes.
It's awesome.
I mean, these seeing all these Mannix pieces, and then I've held off so far. It wasn't in the budget this time, but it will be at some point. Everybody getting a Mannix. I'm a little bit jelly. I love the inking on this. His colors in person are so vibrant, and the other thing I liked the rough edges of all the paper that he always They always have rough edges, like you see it in art class or something. So that's really cool, and it's just fun, right? So comics can be fun. One of the things that I feel like kind of gets taken out of it, and I don't poo-poo it. Listen, everybody's got their own thing for comics, but if things get too serious, you got to remember what this is. It's just basically like men's fantasy, boys fantasy sort of stories, like a boys adventure stories, right? The superhero stuff. And so I really like what Mannix has done, and every time I see it, I just want to see if Gwen, is that's your daughter that's doing the sculpting?
Yeah.
If she has something that she needs to sculpt, she should do a Mannix sculpture. I mean, in ZBrush, I bet it would look phenomenal.
I think you're absolutely right. Josh says that piece that was sold in the auction. I really wanted.
Which one was that? Was that the Wolverine?
The Wolverine with the Sentinels. Yeah, I really wanted that piece too.
Oh yes, with the Sentinels.
Good. And I seriously thought about bidding on it for myself, and then I wimped out. But I mean, it was beautiful.
So
yeah, Sentinels are like my favorite X villain, so it's like that was right up my alley. But yeah,
well, it's flat color. I mean, you look at this. It's not shades of color. It's flat color. So you've got pink, red, blue, yellow. I mean, it's very smart.
Yeah,
and fun and funny. And so we're lucky to have this discovery. I don't know who brought Mannix here, but to this community, but we're better off for it.
Well, we can thank Jiggy for because Mannix was around for a long time before we heard about him. But yeah, it was a Comic Art Live. That's why when I saw the pieces that Jiggy was posting, I was like, I'm buying that Wolverine. That was gonna be mine.
So cool. So cool. And he was posting a bunch of pictures. Looked like he was having a great time.
Oh my gosh.
Like the best time. So that's cool too.
Well, he had a couple of incredible interactions with Mike Allred.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Mike just was amazed, impressed by his work, and went back and like looked at his portfolio a few times, and apparently Allred is one of Mannix's favorite artists as well. So, and again, that's back to we want to have those kind of, not to talk about OAX again, but that's what we wanted, right? We want to have the creators having a good time too, and I couldn't have been happier to have to have heard that was going on. I mean, I think it was at the
Nick
auction.
Patera gave my daughter an art lesson. Just sat down with her for a second and talked. She was just sitting in the corner drawing. She didn't want to go talk to anybody. He just sat down with. He was like, come here. You want to? He said, do you want an art lesson? She's like, sure. She won't take an art lesson from me, but
but Nick, yeah,
yes,
yeah, that's
he's a better artist than I.
Marcus,
all right, Jorge
brings in the-
Fornes,
yes.
right? He's if Mazzucchelli's not out there doing it, let's let Jorge Fornes do it. I mean, he took every lesson from every Batman Year One. I mean, he's a great. He can draw very well, and also is very Mazzucchelli. But he's the Brad. What is the guy? Nick Bradshaw to Art Adams. Jorge Fornes is to David Mazzucchelli.
Right.
But I mean, and I say that, but look at all the work that he's doing there. Like he's doing a lot of underdrawing there with the character. This is just a sketch, I guess. But whether it's the railing and all of the stuff that's around Batman there, I don't know. I just think it's pretty amazing. I think he's a great artist, and I like this piece.
I like it too.
The rope, kind of, you got a little whoop whoop, doesn't completely make sense, but it looks great.
But it works. Yeah. See, now every time I'm looking at the site tonight, I'm realizing that I need to get the OAX ads off. Yeah. I've already made a note. All right, now we go over to Tom Coker. Got to meet Tom, right? He was at OAX. We got the Steve Rude Nexus cover from 1984.
I mean, 1984 Steve Rude, right? So look at that. I mean, talk about Paul Galassi. You see the Paul Galassi and the Loomis, Harry Anderson illustrators have a baby, and it comes out and it's Steve Rude. Right? But you have this nice edge light that's going around Nexus there. I mean, just what Rude was doing here. This is early in the Nexus run, but he's really, firing on all cylinders here. He's really, it has the simplicity of, your kind of Hanna-Barbera, Doug Wildey, like those things that you'd see, Johnny Quest sort of stuff, but also has a kind of I don't know, it has a different energy to it. I don't want to just compare it to other people, because I look at it and I instantly say, oh, that's Steve Rude. Look at you've got the blues and purples in the shading of the cheeks there. And, it's crazy that Steve Rude, this is what? Okay, so 1984, so that's 40 years ago. He's doing, this is from 40 years ago. He's been doing Nexus for 40 years. He's still making Nexus comics. It's amazing. It's amazing. This is as good as anything he's doing today. I mean, I wouldn't say that. I hope Steve's not, because I'm sure he's a wonderful artist.
Oh yeah.
But this is as good as anything he's ever done.
Nope, I agree. Steve's somebody who I've never owned anything by, but man, I love his stuff. Doesn't matter if it's I love his commission style pieces. I love his published stuff. I mean, he's he's fantastic.
I got my first one, not to talk about myself too much here, but I got my first one actually when he was doing that sale over Christmas, because I'm incredibly cheap. And so he was doing the sale for marker sketches or whatever. So I got an All-Star Superman sketch. It's fantastic. I mean, there it is right there. So, right? I just said the cover of base it off the cover of All-Star Superman Omnibus or Absolute Edition.
Not bad.
It's exactly right, right? You know, everybody loves that story. Anyway,
Yes.
I mean, who draws the Punisher better than John Romita Jr.? I don't know. This is a cool page. I love John Romita Jr.'s Punisher, and this was interesting because it's Mike Manley inking. So Manley always had that like really slick line, and he drew Darkhawk and all that stuff. But I don't like it as much as I like, say, Al Williamson or Klaus inking him. Like he kind of, I would imagine that the faces on Romita are pretty loose, and so there's probably some more manly in there. But still, at the same time, I love how Romita draws the Punisher, and it's real. I don't know. I like this page a lot. So the fly girl jogging shorts there, right? But what is he inking these big? What is that thick? It's just like taking marker and just like. That's how you draw comics. It's, sometimes now it can be all sorts of different things, but it's fun to see it like when you're doing it for deadline, right?
Right. Oh yeah. No, I agree with you on the Romita Jr. and Punisher. I mean, he's who I think of whenever I think of the Punisher. Sure.
It's just a big Italian, like, yeah. Fun page.
And this was a fun one to see. Sienkiewicz, Amazing Heroes cover.
Right.
Toothpicking it.
Did you read Amazing Heroes?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Missed those things. That was one of the things that the guy's name is the page that I love. He and I talked a bunch this weekend. What's the guy's name? That does the interviews.
Oh, Kevin Sharp. I'm sorry.
Kevin. Yeah. Sorry, Kevin. To forget your name. There were a lot of names. Super nice guy, but we were kind of talking about like Comics Interview, Amazing Heroes. I mean, it's not the same online. It's just not. It's not there's something about these magazines that have a kind of like a posterity about them. Even that's why I buy, even if I'm not interested in the subject matter sometimes of everything that the Tomorrows people do.
Right.
But this piece of art, Bill Sienkiewicz does this expressive art, but Bill can draw, right? He can draw really well. It's like he started this thing. He said, I want to draw really well, but now I'm also going to do Bob Peak. I'm going to do all of this. And then he gives it to us with superhero shit. So like you get this great Wolverine picking his tooth there or whatever. It's fun. It's it's an amazing piece. I think from 1989, however old that is, like it's really great. So great cover. And I loved Amazing Heroes. That's also why I picked it. I love Bill Sienkiewicz. I think he's really great. I mean, look, Wolverine doesn't make sense there. Like, it doesn't make any sense how his things come out in the claw or picking his tooth or whatever. But it's just a great, fun piece, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, it's going to catch your eye on the newsstand. So that was the goal. Sienkiewicz self-portrait, says Kasra.
Yeah.
He would know.
Yeah. It does kind of look like Bill a little bit in his face, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
He's amazing. He's amazing.
This is in JD's calf gallery. Then here's another piece in Jay's calf gallery. You got a Bermejo X-Men Legacy. I remember seeing this because Mark had this in San Diego, if I'm not mistaken, when it came out. This thing is, I mean, yeah. When Lee was, when this was his style, I mean, I totally dug it. I mean, I don't know, he was like, he was as like looking at DeMeo's work, right? That has like that Photoshop kind of quality. When you first saw Bermejo working like this, you just had to look at it, try to figure out how the hell he was doing it. I mean, it just didn't make sense. Is he doing ink wash? Is he doing pencil? What the hell is he? How is he getting such soft shading in all of his work here? Especially when his underlying thing is these hard lines that just define the shapes that he wants to fill. I mean,
It's
he's
all
very interesting artist.
it all looks so deliberate and
Mhm.
so, there doesn't look it's, this is you take the two pieces, the piece before and this one, they're complete polar opposites, right?
Yeah.
Sienkiewicz is and I mean, this looks so precise and so planned out and so much thought put into it. One of the things that and you get this giant robot vagina.
Yes, we do. We better go back up here.
The, one of the
It's
things that
after
I
11.
wanted to, and I just, you have these thoughts about before you go to a show like OAX, you're like, oh, I want to go talk to the artist, and what do I talk to them about? You're like, okay, I want to know your one trick, and I forgot to even use that as kind of an opening line. I want to know something. Like I remember asking it to George Perez, like, oh, how do you do you do these great groups of people? And usually he's like, well, I just kind of start with one and I put all them anyway. Or Jaime Hernandez, Spotting Blacks. I've asked him that question. You have these questions for these people. And I kind of forgot to do that this weekend, but boy, I would like to know the trick that Lee Bermejo has. Like he has something that he's figured out to be able to do this. And I'm not saying that it's not a lot of work, because art is a lot of work, but also he's figured out a technique, and it is amazing. I looked at this and I tried not to. You can't not pick this piece, right?
I would have picked it if you didn't.
Yeah, it is something else. And then Professor X is back there, and he's kind of dropped out. And this Wolverine, just Wolverine, like that is amazing, and all the themes and everything about it. He's kind of made his own. He's made it his own. He's made it his own, and I love it. I think that's such a cool piece. So cool.
Agreed. I wish it was mine.
Yeah, well, could be. I just thought this piece was weird. Like, how cool is this?
This is like a prelim or something.
I don't know what it is. Giorgio Camolo. I don't know who that is, but it is this like Galactus versus the Anti-Monitor, and you've got Phoenix and Dark Side down there, and it kind of has this. I mean, it's just so busy and interesting. I don't know. I just thought it was cool. Right?
It is.
It's a cool piece. I thought
he's one of my favorite artists.
Oh, okay. I don't know his art at all. I don't know who that is.
Well, do some searches after the show. He's amazing. He does his riff on,
this is Mobius level stuff, right?
Yeah. I think he kind of has a tendency towards Kirby more than that, but you're right. There's definitely Mobius influence on his approach to stuff. Giger. I mean, you'll see when you if you do a little.
There's just such thought put into it, and not just. I mean, yes, I see all the Kirbyisms and everything, but I just like, again, Kirby was kind of leaning towards like he's just like fire with a pencil. Like this is sort of like seems really well thought out. All of the perspective on everything kind of seems right. Like there's nothing that's off about this piece. There's nothing haphazard or even that looks accidental. It's all like right there. I don't know. You'd see these things. Remember that guy that would come on, Mark something, that he'd come on in the afternoon and on PBS, and he'd draw these giant big space things. Like it's like that. I don't know. Oh, so this is by Giorgio Camolo.
There you go. Yeah, this is mine.
Let's see right here. Oh wow.
See?
Yeah, that's amazing.
I mean, now you can see why I wanted that Manic piece. It actually would have looked really nice next to this one. Wow. But the thing is, I talk about Camolo a lot, but he's just a smart, as a draftsman, and as far as his page compositions, he's like not afraid to do anything and just throw everything in there. You will never be disappointed by a commission from Camolo. He's just
where's he from?
He's in Italy.
Okay.
I think
I didn't see the Heritage Auctions thing on here, but
that's all right.
Weird.
Yeah. But he's just an incredible artist. Yeah, I mean, he's up there. You got to
love that Galactus.
Well, his Galactus commissions are to die for. So you'll be blown away when you just search them afterwards. What do we got here? We got, speaking of JLA Avengers, right? You got a page from issue 4 right here.
Well, didn't you love the stuff? Like, that's kind of I mean, whether it was the Avengers or you didn't see as much of it in the Justice League, but also New Teen Titans. I don't know if you read that with
Oh yeah.
Perez. But I always liked those kind of quiet moments, like, and that George would draw so well. And he'd have somebody like, you see the Flash there and he's got his kind of hood down or whatever. And you just, I know this page from George Perez, whether it was in Titans or it's in Avengers or whatever it was. It kind of makes me miss George Perez a little bit. I mean, I always miss George Perez, and I wish George was around so he could come to something like OAX, because I know he would be a shining light in a place like that. And, I only met him a couple of times. I didn't know him well like a lot of people did, but I saw a lot of his art this weekend. And, anytime I can think about George Perez and pick his art and see it, I love it. I love it. So here's George Perez doing JL Avengers, which is also, I always thought, the book that he always wanted to do. And when that book came out, when it finally came out, I thought it was a great book. So cool.
No, it was. I mean, we were all dreaming about it for 10 plus years, I think.
Yeah.
So no, it was fantastic that it happened, and then they did the hero thing after George passed. So no.
Yeah. Look at George's. Go back real quick.
Oh, yep.
Up here, the rocks, the rock island. I mean, that's unmistakably Perez. Nobody could draw rubble like that, man. Just amazing. Just amazing.
Nope.
Right?
Not at all.
Look at that. Look at you. I have this Perez page, and it's got, I don't know if Perez inked it or who inked it, but it's got a close-up of Cyborg. It's one of those pages from games, and it's oversized, but it has this close-up of Cyborg, and the hair is inked, and it's this pattern, and it's a drawn pattern. It's the most amazing thing. I don't know if Perez inked it or one of his people, or I don't know. So many people worked on that games book. I mean, this is an earlier page, so I think it's inked by Perez, but it could be somebody else. But anyway, it's just amazing how that mind works. Really, really nice. Okay, so this is an interesting one. Adam Warren, when he came out with this book, I always liked Adam Warren. I thought he was the best of those like American manga artists. I don't know whether they call that like shouju, or I can't remember what they call it. But of the American manga artists, and I always thought it was so cool when he did this book on with Gen 13, which was a really cool book in the 90s. So I always liked this. I saw this page. I think it was in James's collection, and I love it. I love it. I think it's so energetic and fun, and reminds me of how much I like Gen 13. So Fairchild and Roxy and Grunge and Burnout, all those characters, Rainmaker. I always thought those were cool characters at the time,
Well, I wasn't reading it at that moment, but yeah, you can see a lot of Daniel Warren Johnson style stuff going on in here.
That's where, I mean, those guys, those speed lines, like, kind of taking and speed blurring, I guess you'd call that. But yeah, Daniel Warren Johnson does a lot of that. But those manga guys, but I love it. Like, you see the hand, and it's almost like a Photoshop. It's like a blur effect or something.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, this is great. And Adam Warren's still out there. I mean, he's on Instagram, and he does all kinds of, he's always posting art. It's really cool. He's a good artist. Another one maybe you should talk to. Get on the shows. Yeah, he's great. Like I said, Mitch O'Connell, that's another guy. He sells so much art on CAF. You should have him on, man. He's so good.
All right. I should be taking notes here, Chuck.
Mitch O'Connell, I got the Speed Racer piece. He's been doing comic art, but all his art is on CAF. It's all on CAF, and he sells it. Yeah, he's great. But Adam Warren's another one, man. Like, he's been doing it and just keeps going. I don't know. Love it.
Yeah, no, I like this piece a lot. This was on my list too before I saw it.
Stole it
You
before I
did.
yacked it.
You swiped it. You sniped me on this one.
You
But
know.
I also, what I also liked on this piece, because it's there's so much action on here. The
Mhm.
word balloons actually kind of hold the page together. I mean, because the just the way the fonts are lettered, there's
Yeah.
something about it that I feel like it gives it, because without it, it'd just be almost like it would be so chaotic. And
Yeah.
then the word balloons really make the page. If those weren't there, it'd be very different.
You know, that's a great point, Bill. And it actually goes to a further point, which is like in original art, there is kind of something missing without the word balloons. We've talked about, I think I've talked about this with you with Chaikin's art.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like it really adds so much. And it's great that somebody wants to do it after the fact, but maybe they're, I don't know. It seems like if we are kind of like not fetishizing, what's the like we're taking these pieces and we're collecting it as art as opposed to we're collecting production art, and not production art like stats or something, but like as we're not collecting the that's how it was a of the time how they had to make those old Fantastic Four pages in the 1960s. No page of art needs to be made anymore. You don't have to make original art anymore. So then if art is made now, it's made as a piece of art. You're making it because you want to make something physical, because you don't have to make it that way anymore. You're choosing to make it that way, right? Even with AI and everything, you don't have to draw anything anymore. You're choosing to make something. So in that, I wonder if there is like some kind of argument to saying, okay, well, we should start putting the text back on the page, because you're absolutely right. The text takes you through this page. It takes you definitely through it. And without the text on that page, you can kind of read the page, but it's not the complete piece of art anymore.
Mm-hmm. All right, and you miss out on all the the nuances of putting the word balloon, half over, or, say 60% in this panel, 40% over there. It's leading you through the whole page. Same
Yeah.
thing here. So yeah, yeah, I love it. So
Dan
great.
Clowes, when Dan Clowes draws a page, everything's on that page. Do you know what I mean? It's a complete piece of art. And maybe even, I bet a lot of artists do that. Paul Pope probably does it. You know what I mean? Like, and so when you think of that, and if we are going to continue going forward with this thing that's like, we're not collecting old shit anymore. Like, it's not just like a lot of people do collect the old stuff, but if we're not just doing that, we're taking it forward, then maybe the artists need to think about that. I don't know. Something definitely to think about, because it actually makes it a complete work of art. We're not just, I know you guys like to say hobby a lot, but I don't think of it as a hobby. I think I'm an art collector. I don't think there's any difference between me and Jackass in New York that's in the gallery, and they've started like they're buying Basquiat or whatever, but that's just street art. Like they got into street art. Now they can get into this art, whatever. This is art. Like we're art collectors. Like I don't, I don't listen. Everybody can call it what they want to call it, but I don't think of it as a hobby. I always think of it as like I'm an art collector. I love collecting comics. I love collecting books. I like collecting art. So
I'm not going to argue with you, Chuck.
yeah. Because then we will be going till 12. All right, last one.
Let's see.
Cool
Yeah, last
this,
piece
right?
here. Was this Cleals?
Yeah.
This was Cleals. Yep.
Yeah. How cool is that? Look at that Nightcrawler in the third panel.
Yeah, that's.
I always kind of thought this book was boring. I always thought Excalibur, of all the X books at the time, was kind of like the most boring X book. But I love Alan Davis's art in it, and I just thought it was just kind of fun, like Phoenix and Kitty Pryde, and with the British characters and everything. So I thought this was a neat page.
Yeah,
Down
and
in
it's
the
issue
subway.
2,
But
right?
also,
Yeah,
it's great. It's great storytelling, right? There we
Mhm.
go. Voop, 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 right? How here's comes Nightcrawler. This kind of leads into Nightcrawler leads into this. You've got this kind of like the subway down there with the bricks underneath.
Yeah, no, this is a really nice page.
Yeah, Alan Davis. He's a great artist.
Dan's reminding you that Excalibur is not boring.
Excalibur's so boring, man. The most boring X book. It was.
Oh,
they wouldn't do anything. They'd be like, "Oh, we're on a caper into this and that," and it's super wordy and everything. I know. Listen, Dan. Everybody likes what they like. There's nothing. I mean, I didn't. Yes, Alan Davis is a wonderful artist. I just thought compared to like what was going on with the X-Men at the time, I was always like more X-Men than I was Excalibur. That's what I'd say.
Well, remember, I hadn't read it, so
I
haven't. I read a lot.
You read
of
all the X-Men, but you didn't read Excalibur. You're like,
I did not. No. Tatiana forced it on me though, so I've read a bit now.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. I haven't read any of them in a long time. I will have to admit. Claremont, our Lord and Savior. Yeah.
Oh boy, Jason.
Dress up in with your leather gear for Claremont.
Get James, get this guy off the show.
I picked your piece, James. And wearing your shirt. Come on.
That's right. Exactly. I haven't even put. I got mine.
The tide turns so fast.
All right, here. Let me share my set here. I'll go quick.
Yeah.
You get us all in before midnight here. But you don't get to go anywhere because we have to talk.
Okay.
For a few minutes. So let's see here. What do we got? Let me highlight.
I think we have to make this a yearly thing because I think I was on last year before my birthday too. So
I think so.
Let's we'll do it. This will be the Chris's week off next year.
Yep.
Ooh, look at that.
San Julian. I always just love his color.
When we walked by Berkey's booth, Abby pointed at the table. She goes, "Look at the sexy, sexy ladies." There was a lot.
She did not.
Yes, she
did.
Did
She really?
Hand to God.
Oh,
she did. It was a Vampirella piece. It was like on the thing. She goes, "Dad, sexy, sexy ladies." I said, "Do you want to say hi to Mike?" She goes, "No."
She doesn't want his bank. She doesn't want to say hi to him, but she remembers that he says "sexy, sexy."
Oh yeah, we always, anytime we see anything out, we're like, "Oh hey, Abby, what do you think of those sexy, sexy ladies?"
Good old Mike. Anyway, yeah. So I just always love. I mean, he just I love his palette. I mean, here these yellows that have the hint of orange in them, it just makes it such a hot, warm color, and I don't know. He's just a master of color. I know that sometimes his work looks kind of repetitive in terms of like composition and stuff, but it's still always solid. And I think this is a beautiful piece. I mean, I've never owned anything by him, but I've seen a lot of his work, and every piece I've seen I love because he's just fantastic.
I like how that dragon's missing a little tooth right there. I love that.
I didn't even notice that till now. You're right. I mean, but it's very, very. Now, if that saber tooth was missing a tooth, that might be a little odd. But yeah, no, I like this piece. And whose calf gallery was this in? Juan Mego.
That's very nice.
A 2-year member of calf.
Now, Bill, since we're in this painters club, we're buying these paintings. Now, maybe we have to buy more paintings, more Saint Julians.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, you remember you saw Miles Wool's work at OAX, right? He was on the channel. He got introduced to us by Ron Shepard.
Okay.
And because Ron had commissioned him a few times, and then I don't know if Kazra mentioned his name to the card art guys, and they said, "Oh yeah, we know Miles. He's been doing this." And then I was reminded of Miles doing work in IBA, so that was kind of fun, like taking a recommendation from somebody and then learning a little bit about Miles and really enjoying his work, and then being able to get him into the show where he had a good show. I mean, that's
great. Yes, work was good.
Let's see here.
Ace. Look at that.
Joe Kubert. I mean, this is only 2/3 of a page, but this thing it's I love it. I mean, this is just the perfect piece of art. I'd love to own this. I always keep saying I'd want a Kubert Hawkman, but I would take this and be happy probably if I could get it.
I got control. That was the one thing that I wanted to talk to Adam about this weekend, because I took a class from Adam and Joe years and years ago in Nashville. I should have said something because it was so memorable. Yeah, that work is just amazing, isn't it?
It's phenomenal.
That
yeah.
line work. And I mean, it is, again, very expressive line work. This is not Lee Bermejo, right?
Mhm.
This is Bill Sienkiewicz, but it's, I mean, everything's there. Every single thing's there. It's fearless. I love that.
Yeah. No, this is fantastic. Now, who was Jean Andre. Yep. Long time CAF member. So great pickup. Then here's a Buckingham cover. I mean, I love it. I love Buckingham's work.
Mm-hmm.
He can do no wrong as far as I'm concerned. I mean, even doesn't matter if he's doing a piece like this or if it's just a pencil piece. He's just got a soft quality to his art style, and I think this is, I mean, he's packed a lot into this piece.
Oh yeah. I wonder how you lay a piece like that out. Faces all look good. Buildings look great. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a nice piece, Bill. Very nice. And all of the color. I mean, it's it's a rainbow of colors, but everything works, doesn't it?
Mhm.
And your kind of eye, if you zoom out a little bit, zoom out of it just a little. It's not quite as close. I want to see like the eye kind of like it really kind of the layout and everything kind of takes you through it, but like, everything is atmospherically, you have that atmospheric perspective where in the background things are a little bit, there's less detail. There's more detail up here. So it's so cool.
Yeah.
Also, you kind of have the two worlds, right? Isn't that what Fables is? It's like the New York and Fantasyland or whatever that is. Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, it's very cool. And
I'm not belittling Fables. I just never read it.
I only read a little bit. But yeah,
Did you pick up that Clowes this weekend? Is that your or is that a new Clowes, Dan Clowes?
That was the one I got from Eater at Comic Art Live.
Oh, okay. I was
But
wondering. I didn't know if you'd gotten another one.
I was gonna have him ship it to me, and then we just started talking, and I was just like, "Well, I'll bring it."
And it has Art Spiegelman on it. Is that right? Like kind of an Art Spiegelman type.
Yeah.
Van Pussy.
Yeah.
Pussy.
Pussy. Please. Yeah. No, that's I always when I and I really just had never read 8-Ball until a couple of years ago, and thanks
Maybe
to
it
the
was just
channel,
time.
right? And but if I could get a page, it had to have Pussy on it, and yeah, as soon as I
Did you
saw
get
it,
his new books? Get his new books. I mean, yeah,
Okay.
Monica. It's fantastic. I just absorbed it. It's so good.
All right.
He's so good.
I mean, he's got an exhibit out in somewhere in Europe right now. I forget which.
Yes. Gosh, where is it? Oh, it's at Daniel. I went to that gallery when I was in Paris.
No, I don't think it's in Megan. I think it's like
No?
Martel. It might be Gallery Martel.
Okay. Yeah.
I think they have an ad on here. Oh wait, look right here.
Oh, there it is. Klaus
There it is.
Gallery Martel. There
Yes.
it is. Okay. So yes, I went to Daniel something.
You went to Daniel Megan.
Yeah. That's a pretty cool place.
They're a pretty big art. Well, they rep and their gallery. So then what do we got? Rod G's gallery has this Greg Capullo Batman cover.
Look at that.
I
That's
just
so cool.
What I loved is just the all the hyper detail in the characters. Like it's almost Capullo's got his own style. I was gonna say it's almost Finch like. There's just a lot of like little tick marks and lines in there to make the two figures, and then he just goes in there with all this abstract negative space to put the claws in there. I just love that. There's something that's simple contrasted with something that's heavy detail like that. I like this piece a lot, and it just works as a comic book cover because you can picture the logo.
Right. You got the logo up here or whatever, and then everything's leading to the characters, and then you've got the super high detailed. I thought that Greg Capullo on Batman was just a stroke of genius. Whoever put that team together, him and Scott Snyder.
Yeah.
When they did that together, I mean, that's the one thing from the New 52, right? I mean, it is outstanding. From what I understand, he's been posting some art that he's going to be working on Wolverine, which I think is really cool too. So, Greg Capullo, He's you know, he's not slowing down. And I mean, this has kind of, I love that kind of, I'm a little line guy, you know, quietly's kind of in a category of his own. I won't go into that, but Arthur Adams, you know,
Right.
David Finch, Gary Frank, what they do and what Capullo's doing here. I love this line work. So Silvestri. This also kind of has Michael Golden in it a little bit too. It's thick blacks, how he's doing the cape and everything, you know. History of comics in one picture. It's awesome.
Very true. Then we got this She-Hulk commission by Kyle Holtz.
Great. That's fun.
Isn't it? I mean, it's, yeah, I like Kyle's stuff a lot. Kyle would be somebody I wouldn't mind having come out to OAX. I mean,
Sure.
he's I've never met him. I don't know him, you know, what his personality's like, but you know, I've always thought he's a great illustrator. And
yeah,
look
and
at that.
again, it's fun too, right? Kind of like
Right.
what we were talking about with Mannix. Like, this is a fun drawing. Like, I mean, it's just like the body is turned just like you're supposed to. How to draw comics the Marvel way, but the tits are out. And like, you know, they're looking and they're so exaggerated, and there's just so much drawing in there. Looks like he just had a really great time drawing it. It's really good. This little you know, vein there in Hulk's arms, all the veins. It's so cool. Yeah.
Right. You see something like that, and again, it's back to that curating stuff. I could see him being like putting him next to Wayshack or something, you know, because they would be, their work side by side would just complement one another. And that was
Matt Allison too, you know.
Right. Well, that's why you know, all that it worked really well having Brereton in that line. I mean, but yeah, Kyle would be somebody I wouldn't mind seeing if we couldn't get out to the show. But anyways, this is a fun piece.
I think that it's a good idea to, like, what you ended up doing with Adam Hughes and Gerhard. Like, what a great idea. Who else could you do it with? It's like the Grammys. You know, at the Grammys where they're like, you know, we've got this, you know, Paul Simon playing with, you know, T-Pain or something like that.
Right.
Like, put these people together. Like, you know, do more of that.
Mm-hmm.
Butch Geis, man. He's so good. He's always been good.
Yeah, and I think Peter Rowe mentioned Geis and Epting. I mean, those would be two people we'd love to get out.
And Lee Weeks all together, get into a jam piece.
Yeah. That would be pretty interesting, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but look at that. I just love this piece. This is you know, it's so the character is kind of even lost in the cityscape in its own way. You know, a lot of times you wouldn't want to like wrap the buildings right around him, right? So many people would like do something a little different. He doesn't have a problem layering the figure over the you know, the buildings here. I mean, and it's freaking wonderful.
Yeah, it's great illustration is what it is. I love down here what he's done with this white, and he's taken a piece of white and maybe he's doing the butt of a brush or like a thumb or something like that, and kind of like
these smudges
yeah. Holy cow. And now, is this a published piece?
Yeah, I thought this Overstreet Guide to Law. Yeah, it's a cover.
He's to Lost Universes. What kind of crap? I mean, this guy, he should be you know, Butch Geis has been around since, you know, he did those early X Factor issues.
Mm-hmm.
He did a lot of good X-Men stuff. He's done so much good art over the years. The guy should be like carried around on a throne everywhere.
Well, we may have to do that if we can get him to the show next year.
I'm not volunteering. I'm, you know.
Then here you go, a Dan Dare piece by Frank Bellamy. What is this? 59. I just love these for the, you know, that sci-fi pulpy style, but the colors on the stuff from this period is just cool. You know, and I saw this piece. I just liked it.
Yeah,
I'm going to go fast now though, because I just looked up. We're at the 3-hour mark.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, that could be Richard Corbin. I mean, too, right?
Yeah.
Airbrushing. That's so cool.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Then there was a couple Tim Sale
Yeah.
pieces that I saw that I liked.
Ooh, I love it. Like how he's punching the scarecrow there, and how it's like you get just a little hints of his arm.
Mm-hmm. And that's like punching a hole in him. But yeah, you know, I forget what the other Tim Sale piece was. It was think it was like maybe a commission or something, maybe even inside of a sketchbook or something. It was really delicate. But when I saw this one, I was like, nah, this one's better. This is what
Yeah.
what you want out of a good Tim Sale piece.
Yeah.
Literally breaking the guy in half.
Well, and the thick blacks and the tiny line work, right? You
Yeah.
know? He did a lot of Batman work, but my favorite Tim Sale is that stuff that he did the Superman for All Seasons. I love that book.
Mm-hmm.
He did great. I always thought that had a lot to. I'll have to ask quietly sometime if that like. I always thought he was looking at a lot of different Superman stuff at the time, but always somebody pointed out was like that. You know, I always thought about that when I saw his Clark Kent. I was like, that's a good point. So, Tim Sale.
All right, my last one. This is just a M. Schwiller. I think in the Korshak collection, he had an M. Schwiller at the in the gallery. So I saw this one. I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm gonna pick this piece. I thought the colors were kind of crazy, and I don't, you know, he's making women. I mean, I don't know. Back what year would have this been? Let's see. Does it say 58?
It's like Weird Science.
Yes, Utopia magazine.
Oh,
This was what every man fantasized about
let me
back
just
in the.
turn.
There's going to be one day in the future where I can make every woman that I need. I think there's probably 7 here, one for every day of the week, is what is going on here. I'm sorry, it's late. It's late.
That sounds like a lot of work to me, Bill. I can barely handle 1.5.
Yeah, Nick Berchi said 89 still watching. It's very true. I'm so happy that everybody's hung out with us. You know, I think we were all jonesing for this, right? We didn't have hardly any shows in the last 10 days. So Weird Science, says Rick Welch. Yes, you only needed one there. But yeah, no, M. Schwiller did a lot of work. I back in the day for sci-fi magazines and stuff. This is cool. I like the colors on it.
What a fun! I mean, it's a fun piece. Like, and you've got this big triangle back there, like to bring like the shading that's going on here. And I don't know what's happening with this woman that's disappearing in the middle. I'm sure there's more to the story, but I mean, it's just so imaginative and inventive, and and like also has a human hand to it too. None of these drawings are perfect, which is what we like about it.
Yeah, no, this is it's cool.
Yeah, real cool. Suck it, AI art. Not art, is it?
That's right.
All
right. Well, we made it. We made it to the end.
Yeah.
All right. I promised to wear James' shirt. Look at that. Look at that. Man, you got the effects going on tonight. Jeez, I'm missing out. Is that all? That's in your webcam app, huh?
It's just the Macintosh. He does that.
Oh man, Chuck is on a Mac, says Tom. Yeah, same thing, Josh.
I love the Mac.
I got to go out to dinner with Josh. We got Jerry. We walked around a bunch. Josh came over and we got to hang out at Universal on Monday as well. So yeah, it was a great weekend, everybody.
It was great to meet him. It was great to meet everybody. I want to say everybody, can be bad with names or whatever, but it was wonderful to meet everyone and to see everybody again. It was just fantastic. And the people that like #1 Marvel fan who I don't even know what his real name is, but like
Tom.
What's that?
Thomas.
Okay, Tom. Sorry, I didn't get to meet you, Tom. Like I didn't. There were so many different people there. We may have been standing next to each other and we didn't chat. But like there's only so many hours in a day. But we gotta rectify.
We're all gonna be thinking about OAX 2025.
Oh yeah.
All right, everybody. Well, we appreciate you hanging out with us for so long tonight.
Chris will be back next week. Hopefully,
a good time. Yeah, I've got a busy schedule next week too. I've got a show with Dino on Monday. We're gonna finally do the Heritage recap that we didn't get to do before OAX, and so Dino has
Dino. Why was he not there?
His work schedule kept him away. Unfortunately, he's been a little busy. I'm sure he's probably regretting the fact that he wasn't able to be there. But I've got that. I've got a busy week next week, and I'm still going to try to squeeze in a an OAX show. I might do it at like 8 o'clock on a Monday or Tuesday, because a couple artists wanted to come on with me. And then of course Tuesday night, don't forget, that's the best of ceremonies, right? I mean, that's going to be, we get to bestow trophies on I can't remember how many we do, 17 or 18 of them. So that's next Tuesday as well. So busy week for sure. And Dino's here. He's not in bed yet. Missed OAX due to work conflict. Yep.
We missed you, Dino.
We really did. But we'll get a healthy dose of Dino next Monday at 9 o'clock. So all right, remember everybody, rock the vote, get it out there, get your votes in. Don't be shy.
Vote for all of mine. I'm gonna say, just vote for me.
There you have it.
All
All
the
right,
fight.
everybody. Have a good night. We'll see you again next Monday.